Greetings, Bat Family, and welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by real fans for real movies. Make sure you visit holybatcast.com, or you can find us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. Search for Holy BatCast. You will find us. If you love the show, you want to help support the show, you can do that on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/holybatcast. And as always, a big old thank you to our patrons. You guys are awesome. And I'll just be transparent with my listeners, because I always am. I just tell you guys the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. We got quite a few new patrons over the past few weeks. So not everybody hates us now, which is nice. But for some reason, they all went into the spam folder. And so I just found them, having pulled up the stuff. So thank you to everybody who's already a patron. You guys are amazing. But a big thank you to some of our new patrons and some old patrons who changed their pledge. So Lee Anchoret, great guy, good friend of the show. He upped his pledge, and thank you, Lee. That's very sweet of you. Another new patron, Mr. Sean Wood. Sean, thank you. That's really awesome. Really appreciate it. Nice to meet you. Nice to hear from you. And then also Ben Llewellyn. Ben Llewellyn, thank you as well for being a patron. You guys are awesome. I think we have like a superpowers team here of Ben, Sean, and Lee. You guys are like the terrible trio in a good way. But thank you guys. And if you did that a while ago and I'm just now seeing it, I apologize. I didn't know this stuff was going into spam. So I feel bad about that, but hopefully you guys will forgive me. But again, you guys are amazing. The patrons, you guys make everything so much easier. And I hope you know how much it really does mean to me, because it does. What else? We're part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out those shows at rf4rm.com. And as always, I'm Andy DiGenova. You can follow me on Instagram or on Twitter. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. This episode, we are going to talk about this. The original plan for this episode is we are going to do something kind of random, kind of fun. We're going to rank the Batmobile chases in the movies. But as we were planning that, a little something hit the internet a couple days ago, so we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about the deleted Joker scene from the Batman. And then, God help us, we're going to try to get through some of these emails. There have been so many. We appreciate you guys' patience if we haven't gotten to yours yet. Just so much going on, and with the Batman, and oh man, just so much. So we're going to try and get through those as well. Joining me for all these fun things, it is my Bat brother from down under. It's his Sunday morning. Hey, Brendan Lowe. How you doing, Lil Boo?
Oh, I'm all right, Andy DiGenova. How are you?
I'm great. I'm tired, but good.
Yeah?
The weekends are awesome. I love weekends. You know, Harley's just gets more adorable every day. So
fun with little Harley.
Yeah, she's amazing. We took her out to a party today. She partied hard. I was telling you guys before we started recording, she was the belle of the ball. Everybody loved her. So, you know, it's good.
Until she did a Triceratops-sized shit.
Oh, it was the Jurassic Park scene. I was Ian Malcolm. Anyway,
no, they do that. Don't you worry.
They do it, but you know what they tell you is true, which is when it's your kid, you don't care.
Nope. It's just a flick switches and you don't care.
Yep, we'll just deal.
Thank God.
We also have a special guest. Jamie is not joining us. He is out celebrating a belated St. Paddy's Day. A little late, but that's okay. Better late than never. So I hope he is doing well. I hope he's eating lots of corned beef and cabbage. And I hope that his liver is holding up tonight.
I'm picturing him dancing like the little leprechaun in the Simpsons Halloween specials.
I'm sure, but he's the world's biggest leprechaun.
But same thing though, but it's just Jamie size.
Yeah, it's like if Godzilla dressed as a leprechaun, you would have what's going on in Fort Wayne, Indiana right now. So we have a very special guest joining us. He has been on the show. He just reminded me it was way too long ago. But good friend of the show, another Batman podcaster, all around nice fella. If he hasn't been on the show, his emails have been on the show pretty recently, and like throughout the years we hear from him. It's our pal from The Fire Rises. I said A Fire Rises. What the hell's that? The Fire Rises. It's another Batman podcast. It's our pal, Joe Fornarotto. Hey, Joe. Welcome back to Holy BatCast. I'm sorry it's been 8 years.
No, it's fine. Thank you guys so much for having me on. And yeah, it was weird. It was just listening to you guys talk. I almost was like zoning out, like just listening to the podcast. It was...
no, you got to talk. Like, you got to work this time.
I forgot I was actually on the show and I was just listening like I normally do. So,
yeah, you're like...
But
yeah. It's live. We can hear you.
But yeah, this will be a lot of fun. Thank you again.
Of course, glad we could make it happen. Always fun to get some old friends back on the show. But before we talk about all this fun Batman stuff, we got to give a little love to our sponsor, Manscaped. It's that time of the show. Y'all love it. You love when we talk about trimming our balls. It's your favorite part of the show. Who doesn't love it? But, we're going to take a break from ball trimming because, as I mentioned on the last one, Manscaped has the new Ultra Premium Collection. So they're already good at providing all these amazing products to help you trim up downstairs, but now with the Ultra Premium Collection, they've got stuff to help with the rest of your body, the not so private parts. So we know that like the lawnmower is great for trimming below the waist, but now you can perfect your own grooming habits with all these other things. So you've got, in this premium collection, you've got Manscaped Premium Deodorant, and this is what it says here. It says not for your balls, but for your stanky armpits. I didn't write that. They wrote that. But yeah, for your stanky, they know. Smell nicer. There's a hydrating body moisturizer. There is body wash. There is 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. And when you get this, you get a free gift. You get a 3-pack of lip balm. So it's 4 products plus the gift in the Ultra Premium Collection. They want you to know that these are cruelty-free, paraben-free, vegan-friendly, and dye-free. So all good stuff and super responsible. But great selection of products. If you already like their other products, which me and Brendan and Jamie have told you, they're great. Now there's a whole bunch of new ones. You can get, just get your grooming routine and get it all from the same place. It makes it that much easier. And as always, if you don't want to take advantage of that, please use our promo code BATSCAPED because you're going to get 20% off and free shipping. It's worth taking that chance because you're not only getting these awesome quality products, you're also helping the show. So we talked about patrons, and again, you patrons are freaking saints and you guys are amazing. But if you don't want to be a patron, I get it. That's okay. You got other things. But if you're going to buy body wash and shampoo anyway, you might as well give this a shot. Get the whole collection. You get it all from one place. And if you use Batscaped, you get 20% off and free shipping. Batscaped, BATSCAPED. And it's, again, just a great way to support the show. So go to manscaped.com, use Batscaped, check out all these different things. You're going to love the products, I guarantee. Oh my God, there's a throwback. The old Cajun chef. I guarantee. But anyway, check those out. The Ultra Premium Collection, and let us know how you like it. I'm actually very curious. All the other products I've loved hearing from our listeners who've come back and been like, this stuff's great. I'm like, I told you. I wouldn't have told you that otherwise. But yeah.
I'm looking forward to trying it out. I tell you what, if the deodorant does to my pits what the ball deodorant does to my balls, I'll be very impressed.
Yeah, I'll tell you. And again, it's very easy to just fold them into your daily routine.
Just fold it in.
You just fold it in. your balls and your armpits will thank you.
I got to say, I totally forgot we were even going to mention the Manscaped thing, but I got to say, I took advantage of the offer.
Did you?
And, yes, I did. I used the code and everything.
Oh, I love it.
What is it? The performance package, I think it was.
Yes.
The toner, the spray. Brendan sold the toner for me.
Did.
Brendan definitely sold the toner for me. I do use that.
It's good stuff, right? Like,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. It's super sleek. It feels like it's from the future, but it's not. It's available today. Tell you that.
Low price.
That trimmer did change my life. I'm not even kidding, guys. It really did.
Still haven't had to charge it.
It's amazing. So yeah, the premium collection, we're waiting for our samples. So I'm sure it's great, but I'm going to tell you it's great when I get it. I'm looking forward to it. But if it's anything like the initial collection, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. So check that out. Use batscaped.com, please and thank you. Now let's get this little party started. Let's go from balls to smiles. Not my best segue.
Well,
not my best.
Well,
but
actually,
sometimes balls. Yeah.
The Joker's face and a scrotum aren't worlds apart.
Yeah. I guess I was going to say well-groomed balls can make you smile.
That works.
And there is nothing well-groomed about any hair on it.
Oh man. I mean, if we could get some Manscaped products for the Joker's head in this, I think that could go a long way. We need to trim that shit up. We need to moisturize that shit. We need to tone it. We need to do something because girl's a mess.
I mean, you could use Heath Ledger's Joker as the after picture, I think.
I think that's true, right?
That's not saying much, but
Yeah. If this one was like mirror, I would not let him have the mirror. He doesn't want to know. Ignorance is bliss.
He wouldn't need to smash the mirror. Just look at it.
It would do it automatically. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So we knew this deleted scene of Batman and the Joker existed. They talked about it, over the past few weeks, and then Matt Reeves said, "Yeah, I'm going to release it." We thought it was going to be from the Rada Alada website, and then initially it wasn't. It was the photos and the downloads and everything, but then it did come. It did end up coming from the Rada Alada website, just a week or two later. So that was released a couple days ago. It was released while was a very busy day at work. So like all day at work, I was like, I gotta watch this. But I literally didn't have time until I got into my car at the end of the workday and like watched it on my phone in the car. But we have this scene, and like like anything DC, Batman, even this movie. It's great, it's a little controversial. Some people love it, some people hate it, and everybody's fighting about it because that's what we do. It's fun. But I want to hear your thoughts. Joe, give me your overall thoughts of this little Joker Batman scene.
I've only actually watched it twice, I think. And honestly, I came back from it just thinking, yeah, I liked it. I mean, I don't think it was the greatest Batman Joker scene ever. I don't think it was terrible. I think it was good. I enjoyed the interaction. I think the conversation is my favorite part of it. I don't know if you want to get into the look right away or just the conversation itself, but I enjoyed it. I really did think it was fun, and I'm the crazy person that thinks I wish it was in the movie just because I'll take any more scenes that I know they're out there. I'd rather have it in the movie. But I almost applaud Matt Reeves for the restraint of cutting it. Even though I do like the scene, I think that it shows a lot for him to even cut a scene with the Joker in a film like this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. Brendan, what about you?
Similar to Joe, I really liked the interaction. I thought the conversation was good. To be honest, I'm really glad Jamie's not on this episode because he did not like it. But I liked sort of using Joker as a Hannibal Lecter type character, where you go to the prison to get help essentially from someone who would know how a madman thinks. So that I actually quite liked. I mean, so we've already got the influence of Seven in there hardcore. So throw Silence of the Lambs in there as well. Why not? Yeah, we'll save the look. I think we'll keep that powder dry till you've said your piece, Andy. But
okay.
Overall, I thought the interaction and the conversation was good, and I think I actually would have preferred this scene be in the movie rather than the Joker scene that is in the movie.
That's interesting. Okay. I think we're all pretty much on the same page as far as this. I liked the scene. I liked the interaction. I liked the dialogue. I liked how it was written. I think my favorite thing about the scene is when the Joker says, "Oh, it's our 1 year anniversary," or something to that effect. I thought that was great. I love the idea of him already marking that time and having that love affair with Batman. Yeah, I think that's great. And I do think that the play off of each other was good. And I liked Barry Keoghan. Because last time we had the conversation of, is it Keegan? And I was like,
I always thought it was Keegan.
I was like, someone sent it to me and I couldn't remember, and then 3 of our listeners sent me the correct one. So thanks, guys. So it's Barry Keoghan. I liked his performance. I thought that he gives a good performance, and I really love his laugh. Honestly, like once it builds to that laugh at the end, I really dig that. All that to say, though, I don't think that anything in the scene was necessary to the film, so I totally understand why it's a deleted scene. There's no actual information in there that's needed for the story. I think the whole point of the film is really just, oh, hey, look, the Joker's here too. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the point of having it at all, and you already get that from that final scene, so I think that you do one or the other, but you don't necessarily need both, because the Joker doesn't really give any great insights into helping Batman find the Riddler. the only thing he says that to me felt somewhat useful was when he goes, oh, he's a nobody and he wants to be a somebody. But at the same time, the Riddler tells us that later in the film, so it doesn't really do us any good to hear it from the Joker. So it doesn't really serve any story purpose. It's more of a world building moment of just, hey, guess what? Joker's already out here and they've already run into each other. So I know why it's deleted and I get it. And I don't even disagree with deleting it because it's like, yeah, it's cool that the Joker's already in here. I like seeing their interaction. I think both actors give a good performance, but you don't really need it. And that's kind of where I am as far as the scene itself goes.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's why I was so impressed by Reeves cutting it, because it's very tempting to leave. Obviously, this scene shows you more of the Joker than the later scene.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
To choose to cut this one over the later one, and I think I prefer this scene, but I understand why he kept the last one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because I do feel like this stuck in the middle would have been almost more of a distraction.
Yes.
From everything else going on, whereas at the end, it's, you know, kind of gives you that little pop at the end and a tease for the future. And I will say, and like I said, I liked Barry Keoghan's performance. I've seen some of the things of them saying he's doing the Ledger voice. I don't think he is. I think there are certainly similarities. And this is just my take. I'm like, there's enough similarity where I understand why people would say it, but I don't think it is close enough where you can really say he's doing Heath Ledger. I think he's still doing something unique. I think he's a very talented actor. So, you know, even when we reviewed the film, I was like, that's a great casting. And I still think it's great casting. So I like his performance too. I like his voice. And again, for me, the laugh I think is great. What'd you guys feel about that?
I definitely got the vibe of, you know, like what you said, like I never thought he was ripping off Ledger or doing a Ledger impersonation or anything, but it just felt like there was some similarities there. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just the way he talks. I can't quite pinpoint it, but there's just something there that really reminds me of Ledger more than, say, Leto and you know, that in the Joker movie of Joaquin Phoenix. There's just something a little bit closer there, but yeah, I don't think it's a copy or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Joe?
Yeah, other than, I think there's like one lip smack that like really reminded me of Heath a little bit. You know how Heath did that little like when he was talking and stuff. It was just, I think he did it once, and that was the only thing I could really pinpoint that kind of reminded me of Ledger. But other than that, I thought he was really trying to do his own thing. And I think at this point, how many Joker performances have we had? It's kind of hard to come up with a completely original take when we've had so many great Joker performances. At some point, they're going to start sounding similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, like, it's one of those things where, do I understand the comparison from people making it? Yeah, I'm not deaf. Mm-hmm. I can hear it. I'm not, you know, but at the same time, I do think it is distinct enough unto itself where I didn't feel it was some shameless copy or anything. I think it was enough of its own thing. And then now let's talk about how pretty he is. I don't know. It's weird. It was awkward. Like, I was watching this scene in my car in the parking lot at work, but he was so hot, I unzipped my pants and just went to town.
He's a dashing fellow.
Oh my god, what a beautiful man. So sexy.
They would have gotten the R rating if they kept it in. I think that's why they had to delete it.
Yeah, just for pure hotness.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it can be something like second I watched it. I mean, you said it dropped for you on a busy workday. Like all of these things, it dropped for me whilst I was asleep. So I woke up to it on, was it Thursday or Friday morning, and like I said to you guys straight away, like you and Jamie, and I think I even said it to you and Eric as well, Joe. You can add the Joker to the list of aesthetics I don't like from the Matt Reeves universe. It's like the performance was really good. Like I liked the interaction in the scene. I just don't like the aesthetic.
Well, you even tweeted that. You were,
I did.
You're pretty out there with you did not hide your feelings on the look of the Joker here.
Yeah.
Joe
Matt Spaulding. Sorry, I'll just quickly say Matt Spaulding put a tweet out a day or two ago as well that I really liked, because, you know, Reeves has banged on and on about how it's influenced by The Man Who Laughs, which, I mean, is the influence for the Joker anyway. Let's be completely honest. And he posted some photos of, I can't remember the actor's name, but, you know, the actor in the movie had done up as The Man Who Laughs. And he's just like, that looks terrifying enough on its own, you know? And it's true, like, just that rictus grin without all the other shit going on. A man who has been born where he just can't stop smiling, that's scary enough. Like, to me personally, I don't think it needs all the other prosthetics and the munted teeth and just I mean, it looks like the Toxic Avenger. I think less would have been more. And honestly, that would have given me what I've been craving, which I know I'm not going to get with these movies, and I'm trying to reconcile that, which looks closer to the comics. But yeah, I do think less is more, and he would have been scary anyway without all the other crap on his face and half ripped up hair and everything.
Joe, where do you land?
I pretty much land where I land on all the aesthetics of this film. It's not what I wanted, or I mean, I don't know about expected, but it's really not what I wanted, but I'm okay with it. Like, I've come to terms with the aesthetics of the film. And as far as the other aesthetics with the film, where like the Riddler look and I mean, Penguin's pretty spot on, but as far as like the bat suit and all that, honestly, I think I'm probably more okay with this than anything else. Because like your thing is with the Riddler look, like he doesn't look like the Riddler. I still feel like if you look at this guy, you could tell it's the Joker.
That's true.
That's fair.
But is it what I would have wanted? No. But also, like, I didn't expect anything else. Especially, like, we got the final scene in the film. Did people think those prosthetics were going to go away in this scene? Like, we already saw the Joker, kind of.
I will say, you know, I mean, you even said we get a better look at him in this scene than we do in the finale. I felt like he was obscured enough. This is not what I pictured, based on the final scene.
I didn't picture the extreme. Yeah, I didn't picture the extreme nature of everything else, but his face I did expect to be pretty messed up.
I expected it to be a little more like the, honestly, more like Jim Lee's Joker, where his smile is still messed up. But the rest of him was not, and they left him obscured enough in the, you know, in the theatrical cut, I guess. I don't know, in the final film, where I was like, oh yeah, obviously there's some scarring with his mouth, but from the mouth up, to me it didn't look nearly as messed up as what this ended up being.
Okay. Yeah, I really don't have a problem with it, and I guess like I have a tendency to like headcanon things for my own benefit, to try to convince myself to like things even if I don't, because I just like liking things, and I admit that. I admit I can trick myself to just accepting things, and for this it's kind of like, okay, I'm not crazy about it, but maybe this is like he was in the acid bath and he hasn't healed yet, and I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Again, I don't get upset about this stuff as much anymore. I'm kind of I'm okay with whatever, because I've come to terms with the aesthetics in this one. Like I love the film. I mean, I know you guys have heard me say how much I love the film. I still don't like the aesthetics, but I can get over it, and I've just accepted it.
Yeah. All right, cool. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty much I'm with Brendan on this, but it sounds like, Joe, you're not even that far off. I don't like it, you know. I mean, it's too much. I just think it's too grotesque, and it's just gone too far. It's too extreme, and it's almost like it's trying too hard. I'm not into the look at all. What's funny is I did like the glimpse we got of him in the film, and I went, oh, cool. Like, I'm excited to see more of him and to see what he really looks like when he's taken out and we get to see him unobscured. And then when I saw this, I was like, oh, that is not what I thought it was going to be, and I was disappointed. I don't love it. It just feels like too much.
They lied on the Tinder profile picture, and then you saw the real person.
Right.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting.
So
Seinfeld in the dark and then in the light.
Yeah, and so I I think that, Brendan, you said it, and it's exactly what's run through my mind since I saw it. Is I was like, less is more. Like, the Joker is creepy enough as a concept. You don't have to make him this grotesque monster, and for people who love it, great. I just don't. But I mean, it's one of those things where, and we've said it on this show, we've said it on Real Fans, we've said it for years, is this is why they have menus at restaurants, Matt Reeves is a chef making these dishes, and there's a whole chunk of Batman fandom that can't get enough of it. And I just, I think I just prefer a different chef at that point. So, and that is to say, I still like the movie and I'm still excited to see where it goes. But as far as a look for the Joker, it just, to me, I don't like it. And it just feels like it's trying too hard. So,
yeah,
that's where I'm at. But again, it's kind of consistent because, I don't like the Riddler's look, and I don't. So at least it's consistent. But interesting. I also think it's kind of smart to release this when they did, because the movie's been out now 3 weeks, and just as buzz is starting to die down, you release something like this and you get it back in the conversation again. You get people talking again. So I just thought that was interesting and kind of smart from a marketing perspective. Is nope, keep people talking about Batman one way or the other, and what better way than to release this scene? Do you guys remember when they did that with BVS? It was the week after BVS came out.
Yeah, it was like
Monday.
Yeah, it was really, really close.
Yeah, they released that scene with Steppenwolf.
Yeah, the communion scene.
Yeah, and so it's just here they waited a little longer, which makes sense though. But you get a little pop there again, get it back in the conversation. So, yeah, I think we're all kind of on the same page as far as interaction goes. But yeah, it's as far as a Joker look, I don't think this is topping any of our lists.
It's a look, all right.
It's a look. But speaking of lists, we all made a list of Batmobile chases. And people loved it when we ranked the Batman live action films. And I thought, hey, let's do the Batmobile chases. And I can't take credit for it. One of our listeners, Chris, the Objective Geek, who we hear from really often, he wrote us a little while ago and he said, hey, how would you rank the Batmobile chases? And I was like, you know what? Every once in a while we get an email where I'm like, that doesn't just have to be an email. That can be an episode. And so I was like, it's minimal homework. It's fun to talk about it. People like lists. I love crunching the numbers when listeners vote. So, hey, what the hell? Let's do it. And so here we go. We are going to rank our film Batmobile chases. So again, extra shout out to Chris, the Objective Geek, for the idea. Thank you so much. And yes, today he put his vote in and he goes, wait, did somebody read my email? This is coincidental. And I said, yes, dude, this is, you inspired this. This is all you. So thank you for that. And so we made a list of the Batmobile chases from the different Batman films. We stuck to live action, FYI. Although ironically, I don't feel like at least the theatrical ones don't really have big Batmobile chases anyway, so I don't feel as bad. We do not have a Batmobile chase from Batman the movie from 1966 because there isn't one in the movie. They drive the Batmobile, but there's not an action scene with it. And then the biggest one that sort of we went back and forth about deciding whether or not to keep it was the big finale chase in The Dark Knight Rises. Because
there are tumblers.
There are tumblers, but Batman's in the Bat and Talia's in the big semi-truck. And it was just does it count? I don't know. And I really could have gone either way about it. But I think at the end we decided, no, it doesn't count. It's not really a Batmobile chase. So the list we ended up with was, and I did write subtitles for them all.
Which I loved.
Thank you.
Yes.
Batman, Escape from the Museum. Batman Returns, Mr. Penguin's Wild Ride, where he takes control of the Batmobile. Batman Forever, Up, Up, Up the Wall. Batman and Robin, The Long Arm of Gotham. Batman Begins, Flying on Rooftops. The Dark Knight, Slaughter is the Best Medicine. Batman v Superman, The White Portuguese is Dead, Bury It. Justice League, and for the sake of this conversation, we're assuming it's Zack Snyder's Justice League. Parademons, Cha Cha Cha. And then finally, The Batman, I got you. I got you. So those are your options. We're going to do this like we did the film rankings. We're just going to start at 9 and work our way up to number 1. And I did put it out on the Facebook page. And so a thank you to everybody who voted. And then I tallied up those results. And I will share those at the end. Because it's not only fun to share ours, I love seeing how all the votes pan out. It's really fun for me. So we'll do that at the end. Some surprises in there, actually. So we'll start with number 9. Joe, what's your number 9 Batmobile chase?
My number 9 is Batman and Robin, The Long Arm of Gotham.
All right. And why?
There is no chase. It lasts about a minute, and it's just, he's chasing after Mr. Freeze and then disables the Red Bird, and that's pretty much, you get the cool shot of him, flying off the finger of the arm, and then Mr. Freeze freezing the Batmobile, and then him jumping, but there's like a cool shot there, but that's pretty much it. There's really not much to it. Like I said, it's a minute long, and just because I did my homework, I'm the guest here. I think I had to do like extra work just to justify myself here.
Yeah, that's the rule.
I rewatched every single one, and I also tallied up how long each one was, just out of curiosity for myself, because I was kind of curious how long each one. And this is the shortest one by far. Actually, not even by far, but it is shorter, and it just there's not really much to it other than what I already said. I don't know what else.
How long is this since you timed it? Do you have it in front of you?
1 minute 16, and surprisingly, there's another really good one that's only a little bit longer, which I'll bring up when we get to it.
Okay.
But 1 minute 16.
All right.
That's from the time you see the Batmobile to the time it's frozen.
That honestly is longer than I was expecting you to say.
I was shocked. I think I texted you saying it was like 30 seconds, and I was like, wow, it's actually longer than that.
All right. Brendan, what about you? What's your number 9?
My number 9 is also Batman and Robin, which shouldn't surprise anyone. I don't think it's barely a chase, and what it is isn't exactly a good one. I really, I don't like anything about it. The cars driving down the arm of the statue looks terrible.
They look like toys, like they literally do.
Well, but see, this is the thing, and I was going to say it. The two Schumacher examples we've got here, to me it feels like, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, and I don't know if it was because they were trying to sell toys, but particularly Batman and Robin, like it feels like, what would a kid do with a toy? Like they'd drive it up the wall, they'd drive it down the arm of this thing. Like that's what it feels like. And if that's by design, okay. You certainly achieve that because that's what it looks and feels like to me. But yeah, the car's not great to begin with, but they just look manky going down the arm of the statue. I really hate the interaction between Batman and Robin in this, and Robin's big like,
I like that part, but like not for the right reasons. It makes me giggle when he does it.
But the shot with Batman standing over Mr. Freeze and I said it in our messages leading up to this episode, it is the most not Arnold in costume Mr. Freeze in the entire movie. And there's a lot where you can tell it's not Arnold, but this one's just, they didn't even try to hide the fact that it's not him. It looks like a dummy. I don't even know if it is a real person, but it looks terrible. But with the Batman lowering the cape and stuff, that's kind of cool. But it's not good at all. I will say, though, just for shits and giggles, my favorite shot of Clooney the entire movie in the Batman costume is the scene directly after this, where it hard cuts to sort of him obviously just pulled up in the Batcave, and it's just his head in the Batmobile, and he kind of either he looks up or opens his eyes, and it's all in silhouette. He looks really good as Batman in that shot. But that's pretty much it. And it's not even part of this scene, but I do like that shot of Clooney, just worth mentioning for the hell of it.
Okay. No surprise.
Make it 3?
Not quite. No.
I was worried it was going to be this one.
I like the Batman Forever one even less.
Oh wow. Okay.
And let me tell you why. It's pointless. It comes out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
And it ends out of
no
nowhere. And it's like it's just shoved in this random spot in the movie where you're like, why is this even here? So that's a big part of it. It makes no sense as to why it's even happening. And the Batmobile driving up the side of the wall. Back in 1995, I kind of was like, wow, they found a way to do it. And then, like, you know, I was not a teenager anymore, and I'm like, this is so stupid, because there's no way for him to get down. And I know it's a movie, and I know it's a comic book, but I'm like, there's literally no way for him to come down. It's just hanging there, and he's got to wait for Two-Face to leave before he can slowly lower himself down and get out of there. So that's why it's last for me, is because the scene is pointless, and then I kind of appreciate that they tried to create some sort of way for a Batmobile to drive up a wall, but it doesn't hold up, not even scrutiny. It doesn't hold up to more than 2 seconds of thought.
Just for the sake of conversation flowing, I'm not sure where you've got it ranked, Joe.
But no, go ahead. I'm with you.
This is my number 8. So this is my second to last. I can't disagree. I've always wondered though, with the whole like it coming out of nowhere, and it's been 25 odd years, whatever, since I've read the novelization and everything. But I do wonder if this is an editing problem of how it just comes out of nowhere. Because if you read the original flow of this movie, a lot of it's chopped and changed around.
It's probably an editing problem, but even if it's an editing problem, tell me if Batman is chasing them or if they're chasing Batman, because I don't know the difference.
That's an excellent point. And that's just the other thing is like what's even happening?
Them,
right?
He starts chasing them, and then by the end he's going away from them. I really was shocked by that when I was rewatching it, like trying to figure out what was going on.
Well, because that's just it. Is they're just like driving down the street. It like cuts to the middle of the chase. So like. And then like Two-Face is like, what? He's like dressed as an old lady and he pops out, and I'm like, I don't even know what's going on in this scene. It's literally just nonsense in the middle of the movie because they were afraid it's been too long without Batman. I don't know.
Isn't this when he Dick hasn't long arrived at Wayne Manor and he sees the signal and he's like,
exactly.
Keep an eye on the kid or whatever. And then it's like hard cuts to this chase scene, but there's no I'd love to know if there was more to it. Like if in the Schumacher stuff there is actually a start that was filmed, or if it's the same thing. But as for it going up the wall, as an 11-year-old when the movie came out, I liked it. As I've gotten older, it makes no sense whatsoever. I do think them doing it though, I mean, the Anton First Tim Burton Batmobile, like, it does some pretty wild stuff. And you know, it uses grappling hooks and things like that. It's stuff that we've seen previously, but just like with Batman Forever especially, like they've just tried to crank it up to 11 and make it even more over the top, which it achieves. Again, if that was obviously by design, so they achieve what they set out to do. But you know, I mean, there's another Batmobile chase that we'll talk about, obviously, that involves rooftops and everything, and that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, this one, it's just got to hang there. I mean, even the little jet mechanism to lift it up, doesn't make sense, you know. But hey, at least they did it to show that, it does this. But they thought about it to a point. But it's, I said it to me. It's just like, what would a kid do with a toy of this car?
Sure.
Or you know, what did we used to do with our Matchbox cars or something? And this is it. And you know, they were making a movie for kids, so.
Well, and I will say the shot of it driving up the wall with like the explosion behind it is a cool shot. I do like that shot.
For 1995, that was all computer generated too, so I mean it holds up pretty well.
Yeah. You want to keep going, Joe?
No, you guys said everything needs to be said. I just, it slightly beats out Batman and Robin for me. I think because the spectacle is a little bit more. That's what edged it out for me. It's more of a Batman chase or a Batmobile chase. But yeah, the quality itself, I mean, it's the last two for me are the only two that I really don't think are worthy of praise.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Everything else on my list I actually enjoy.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to mention quickly because everyone focuses on the car going up the wall. One thing I did think was cool, probably not mechanically possible.
The wheels?
I don't know, but the
Oh,
wheels,
yeah, the wheels.
like
The wheels that turn
Where he
90
lights the people
degrees.
behind
Yeah.
him on fire.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the Batman,
And the flame behind it was cool.
the Batman Returns one. I mean, it has a little turntable that comes out and spins at a full 180. So this is kind of, again, it's just kind of like, okay, we've seen it do this. What else can we see the car do?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't mind that part. I prefer that to the car going up the wall.
Yeah. Well, my number 8, I just had them swapped. And I think you can make a case either way. And the only reason Batman and Robin beat out Forever is because it actually is, organically starts the scene prior because it is literally Mr. Freeze escaping this big heist and they are now chasing him. So at least we know why the chase is happening, which is a big win, the fact that we actually know why they're chasing him. And the thing down the arm is so ridiculous. But like, it's kind of my how I feel about Forever versus Batman and Robin. Like, it's so stupid, but I kind of giggle at it instead of getting mad at it. And I think the other reason is my favorite shot of Clooney as Batman is when he's standing over Mr. Freeze. That's my favorite shot of, and that's how the sequence ends. So it's still silliness because of course it is. But that last shot of Clooney with the cape over Mr. Freeze.
It's miraculously got bits of dowel in the side of it.
Yeah. But I like that shot, and so I'm like, okay, so it's got that going for it.
Well, Andy, as much as you love saying that Batman and Robin and Batman Forever are the same movie, I have some pointless, interesting trivia to back that up.
Okay.
Both Batmobile scenes start at exactly the same time in each movie.
Oh my God.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Not at
48 minutes into both films.
How funny. Yeah. I will also say this real quick, is that what's funny is I remember leading up to Batman and Robin, Joel Schumacher hyping up the new Batmobile. I remember him going, oh, and we designed a brand new Batmobile and just wait till you see it. And then you see the movie and like, this is its big scene? Because it doesn't do much, right? It's just sort of like it's at the very beginning during the opening credits, and then it's this scene where it drives down a huge arm, and then it gets frozen and destroyed, and that's it.
And is it the only Batmobile where they only made one?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And they couldn't use it. They had to use the digital version or the props for the scene.
Yeah. So it's just funny, like, why hype it up if this is your big showcase moment? All right. So number 7. What's your number 7, Joe?
My number 7, which surprised me, and I'm sorry if you guys are going to hate me for it because I love the movie.
Hey, guess what though? Guess what, Joe? I don't hate people based on their opinions of movies.
Okay, good, because it's Batman '89.
All right.
And
now
it's
that
not.
You've said that.
Okay, you found a way to do it. I hate you. I'm disconnecting from the call.
Sorry.
Congratulations.
Honestly, and it's like I was shocked at how short it was on the rewatch. It's only a minute and 20 seconds. The actual Batmobile chase. There's a lot of great stuff before it and after it. And even who doesn't love the Batmobile from this movie? The Batmobile is incredible. But I was really underwhelmed with watching it compared to the other films. And I think it's more because of the way these chases are filmed as technology gets better and the stunt work gets better and just I think that has a lot more to do with it than me not liking the chase itself. But like I said, 1 through 7 for me, I really enjoy all of these. It was hard for me to rank a lot of these top ones. And yeah, unfortunately, like I said, I was just kind of underwhelmed with it, and I just like the other ones more. That's really all it comes down to.
No, it's okay. You're allowed. It's all good. I will say this is. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, sorry, just a question with the scene though. See, to me, when I watch that movie, it's from when the car shows up at the museum. Get in the car, which one, to when they pull up in the Batcave.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is the scene. So I kind of include all of it, but it sounds like you didn't. But that's where I would have. Yeah, that's where I'd sort of take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to like when they get out and he says shields before they get, because there's a lot of great stuff there, and then they get back into it, but then they're just driving back. So to me, that's not part of the chase.
But the driving back's so good.
Well, he said chase. He didn't say to drive.
I thought I was very specific, but apparently they're still open for interpretation. I will say this, though.
I said, I like the scene. I'm not criticizing it.
That's okay. When ranking these, I tried to separate it from the car itself. And the way I judged it was like how exciting and fun to watch each sequence was.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, that was my barometer.
Same here.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. What's your number 7, Brendan?
Mine is Batman Returns, Mr. Penguin's Wild Ride.
Okay.
And the main reason for this is, I mean, yes, Batman's in the Batmobile, but he's not driving it. He's not in control of the Batmobile, which I know is the point of the scene. It's not a criticism, but, it sort of takes away from it a little bit for me. And another question I have regarding this scene, it's something I've wondered now for almost 30 years. The Batmissile. Is that just a happy accident that it does that? Because Batman, like, he kind of panics and then just, like, hits everything. Like, it's not like...
He panics because it doesn't do it.
Yes, he knew that the Batmobile was capable of doing that, but when he first hits the switch, it doesn't happen, and that's why he panics. Is he's like, oh shit.
That's why I rewatched them, Brendan.
Yeah. See, the way I've always taken that is like he presses the one switch, and it almost looks like the thing that the turntable's meant to come up again to sort of spin it around, and it doesn't. And then he's like, okay, now we're worried, and then he just kind of hits everything. And then that's how the Batmissile happens, which I've never been a big fan of the Batmissile, but that's how I've always read that scene, is like, was that supposed to happen?
I think that's what he was always trying to do. Yes.
Yeah. I agree. Okay. And I think it's like when something doesn't work and you start banging on it to just see if you can get it to work. That's how I took it.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Okay. But look, it's a decent enough chase scene. It's just, for me, Batman's not in control of the car, which sort of knocks it down the list for me.
Yeah. I considered it for Batman Returns. It could have been the opening as well, because there's plenty of Batmobile action. Mm-hmm. But it's not so much a chase.
It's not a chase.
Yeah, so that was kind of the...
Oh, yeah, I didn't even consider that. I like this one better.
Yeah, I thought this was the better option. All right, my number 7, and much like you said, Joe, I agree with you, is like, much like when we ranked the Batman live-action films, everything except like the bottom 2 or 3, I really, really like. And that's the same thing here. Like you said, like the 2 Schumacher ones, like, meh, whatever. It's, they're nonsense. But from this point on, I still like all of these. And so it was tough to make some of these rankings. But all that is to say, number 7 for me is Justice League, Parademons, Cha-Cha-Cha. And I do like it. And I guess I think it's this low for me is because it just doesn't make as much of an impact as some of the other ones. And I don't like the big, huge tank gun that they added to the Batmobile for Justice League. I think that's a bit much. And I just feel like the Batmobile moments in this chase are just not as like, oh, hell yeah, as I get in some of the other ones. Because this is sort of woven in with the rest of the finale. And I feel like the highlights of the finale are less about the Batmobile piece and more about kind of what everyone else is doing. So I do like it. I think it's really good. And I do love Aquaman riding on it. I think that's awesome. But yeah, this one just ended up kind of low for me because I just feel like in this entire sequence, for me, the Batmobile's not the highlight. All right, number 6, Joe.
My number 6 is Batman Returns. I love this chase. I think for all the reasons, like Brendan was saying, of what he used to determine, or I think it was Brendan, whoever said that, like what makes it exciting, what makes you like almost on the edge of your seat the whole time. For me, Returns, it beat out 89 for that, because I think it's just a very suspenseful Batman chase, like a Batmobile chase. Like, I actually think it adds to it that he's not in control, because it adds to that scary factor of you don't know what's going to happen. And then he has that moment where he doesn't know if the bat missile is going to work. I really, and it's just so entertaining seeing the Penguin do his thing on the little, the stupid Batmobile car, like the little like you would see in an arcade.
So bad as a kid.
Oh my god, I still want that for my house.
Have you guys seen the meme that's been going around recently of Penguin in the car when he's like on the steering wheel, and it's like POV of what my girlfriend sees when I'm.
Oh yes, yes.
I have not seen that.
I did.
Sorry to interrupt, Joe. It just made me think.
No, that's it. I just think it's a really fun Batmobile chase. I really like it. There's just so much to go back and forth between the ridiculousness of the humor of the Penguin to Batman really being worried about how he's gonna get out of it, and then punching through the floor to get rid of the bat, the little bomb. It's just, that's a cool Batman moment just to itself. It's just, yeah, I was actually very surprised to see how much I enjoyed this on a rewatch more than the Batman '89 chase. But yeah, it beat it out for me.
Oh, nice. What about you, Brendan? What's your number 6?
I'm going to apologize to Eric here in advance, because my number 6 is the Batman.
Eric's not here.
I know, but he'll be listening. But honestly, the only reason I've got this at number 6 is because I've only seen it twice. But what I have seen, I quite like the chase itself. I don't like the car, but I like the chase. After a few more viewings in, say 12 months time, this could move up a bit higher. It's just that it's the one I'm least familiar with. I mean, we're all least familiar with it, but that's why it's sort of as low as it is. But I mean, it's a cool chase. Not just what the Batmobile's doing, but like what Penguin's car is doing as well is really cool. I mean, I know it's kind of, I've seen it before with the Batpod, but I like using the ramp of the truck to do the jump. I love the Batmobile bursting through the flames and everything. It's a shame we kind of saw that in the trailer, but it's just a fun, well-made, well-put-together car chase. And I like the I know you and Jamie didn't, Andy, but I like the fact that like they've got the camera mounted low on the Batmobile and that camera mount on the Penguin's car. It kind of just gives it something different that we haven't seen in any of these other chases. So I'd be curious to see where it lands if you were to ask me this again in, say, 12, 18 months' time.
All right. Well, I'm just going to follow up because my number 6 is also the Batman. Same. And yeah, it kind of comes with the same disclaimer, as I've only seen it twice. And so I do think that on future rewatches, it might start inching its way up. But y'all know, like from my first viewing, I found it mostly frustrating because of the GoPros on the sides of the cars. It's just kind of a baffling decision for me. But then when I watched it again, I was, I found it played a lot better that second time, and I liked it a lot more. And so what I like about it is I like how much speed is involved. I like, I like that it's in the rain, and I love the way it ends. To your point, Brendan, I love that final moment where it bursts through the flames, and it's just a badass way to end this. I love the way it starts when it revs up. I love the way it ends. And then for me, the way it was shot and edited was, I thought, a little distracting. And it's one of those things where I do hope that it just continues to improve on subsequent viewings. But for where I am, for 2 viewings, I've got it at number 6. But I'm glad I rewatched it because, I liked it even more that second time. So I'm right there with you. Number 5, Joe.
For number 5, I have Zack Snyder's Justice League. Pretty much for what you said, Andy, it's not the focal point of that scene is the Batmobile itself, but I have it as high as I do, which it's right in the middle, because you can't get past, for me, like Aquaman being on the Batmobile, and you got the great shot of all 5 members, in that slow-mo shot, the splash page shot, that's all part of that Batmobile chase. And it's on the rewatch, there's more to it than I really expected. There's a lot of cool shots with the parademons and just some really great, it has that wow factor of seeing the Batmobile with the rest of the Justice League for me. And I just, yeah, I don't think it's as exciting maybe as Returns, but I think it gave me more of something different with these rest of these chases, where it has something that stands out more. And I think that's why it beat out Returns for me. But I really love the, the Aquaman stuff, seeing the rest of the team. I think that gives it that little bit, just something different.
Mm-hmm. All right, nice. Brendan, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Batman versus Superman. The white Portuguese is dead, bury it. I do really like this chase, and I mean it's smack bang in the middle for me. The only reason it's not higher is because it's a bit murdery, for lack of a better term.
Don't get me started on that.
Lots of guns, lots of, the Batmobile flying through the air and pretty much decapitating someone in the back of a truck. Yeah, very murdery. But that aside, I like the chase itself, and I like the action. Like similar to the Batman, and also the Batman Begins and stuff before it. I love it when the Batmobile's in darkness and you can't see it, and then you just see the lights and the engine rev.
Mm-hmm.
Like it does that really well. How I do like how it gets sort of smashed into the side of the boat. And any other car would be like, well, they're out of it. But no. Like, and it just flies out the other side of it. And it's a really, really cool chase. And the fact that it ends with, the first meeting of Batman and Superman, that's pretty cool. It's very stylized, obviously. But I dig it.
All right. My number 5, this is my turn to talk about Batman Returns. Mr. Penguin's Wild Ride. I totally get the point that, Batman's not in control, but I like how unique the sequence is. And I kind of like the wanton destruction that happens throughout the sequence. Like the shot that really stands out to me is when the Batmobile is like going down the street, and on either side of it is like a line of cars, and they just keep flying off to the side as the Batmobile just powers through them. That shot and that little moment is so great. I like how just it's fun to watch. It's fun. It's a fun shot, and sort of that ticking clock of race against time of how much damage can the Penguin do before Batman is able to stop it. And the Bat Missile, it's weird, but at the same time I like it, and I think it's a really cool and unique ending to that chase as well, of when he gets the control back and he does that Bat Missile moment. I remember that in the trailer and people just being like, what the hell? The Batmobile just sheds its skin and becomes this other thing. And it was just a really interesting idea for something that the Batmobile could do that we had never seen before. So yeah, I just think that this is a really fun sequence, and I think that's why it's as high as it is. We haven't gotten to it on my list yet, but I do think that the biggest issue with both of the Burton chase sequences is they're just not that fast. Mm-hmm. And that's why, like the Batman chases, the speed is there, and I think that goes a long way. But even though they're not as fast because they're on a backlot or in a soundstage, he still found a way to shoot them where they're really fun to watch, and that is why I have it. Well, not high, it's smack in the middle, number 5, but that's why I have it a little higher than you guys. I just think it's a really fun sequence.
I
that
will
Bat
say
Missile
quickly,
was such a cool toy.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's what I was about to say. Like, even as a kid in the movie, I never really liked the Bat Missile. Like I wanted it to do more than just go through the alley and then sort of half skid out, and then that's all you see of it. But it made for a cool toy, that Batmobile with the sides that popped off. That was one of my favorites as a kid.
Well, I loved the McDonald's Happy Meal toy that was the Batmobile, but you push the button and like the Bat Missile shot out the front of it.
I don't think we had those.
Yeah,
here in Australia.
it was great. Well, now I know what to get you for Christmas.
We had neck pens for Batman Returns here in Australia.
Oh, weird. That's right. I remember you telling me that. Yeah,
yeah,
that's fun.
You said that on an episode one time.
Yeah, they were like half action figures cut in half, and you stuck a pen up them.
Okay.
So weird.
All right, up to number 4, Joe.
Number 4 for me is the Batman. I think it does have to do with I mean I saw it 3 times in the theater. I'm with you, Andy. The first time I saw it, the way it was filmed was very jarring. I couldn't follow it at all. I kept looking around to see what was going on, and I was like my head was spinning the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But the second time I saw it, I really took my time to try to really just focus on everything going on and appreciate the way it was shot. And I keep going back to, this one was different for me. And we complain a lot that some of these films are copying from other films or other interpretations a lot. There is, at least you could say that Reeves really had a different idea to do a Batmobile chase with the way he shot this. It was a very, I think maybe going back and forth a little bit might have benefited him, so you could see, more of the scope of the chase. But I appreciate that he was really trying to do something different with this. And I do wonder, like you were talking about, as far as getting the big money shot at the end in the trailer, I do wonder if over time we'll forgive that more, because like kind of with the Dark Knight, we got the money shot of that chase in the trailer too, and it seems like over time I don't remember that really detracting from how much we loved that scene.
Yeah. And it's funny because I don't hold that against them, because it's such a money shot. I don't blame them for putting it in the trailer, of course. And you're right. It happens all the time. It happens with every movie. So no, that for me isn't really a big deal. I totally get it.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, honestly, obviously, none of us have said The Dark Knight yet. I would assume it's because there's more to love in that scene other than the money shot than this one. That's where I'm at with this. I think the end shot of that chase is the best part, and the prior stuff to that is some great perspective shots with the characters. But even with the Batmobile chase, when your best part of the Batmobile chase is the perspective of the characters, it kind of does detract a little bit. And like I said, I have it as 4, so I obviously enjoy it, but only seeing it 3 times, I think it might go up or down depending on how much I,
for sure
change. Yeah.
I mean, and I don't want to be a broken record, but man, just a few more wide shots, just a little more coverage would have made all the difference in the world.
Yep.
So, all right, cool. What about you? What's your number 4, Brendan?
Mine is Justice League Parademons Cha-Cha-Cha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do agree with what you said about this one, Andy, in that the Batmobile isn't the focal point. There is a lot of other stuff going on, which I guess is kind of cooler. I don't have a problem with the big sort of Gatling gun on the front of it, because in this movie, you're killing aliens, so it doesn't matter. In the world of movies, if they're not human, you can kill as many as you want. It's all good.
Yeah.
But I mean,
and I don't disagree with that. Like, it doesn't bother me that it's parademons that are just getting mowed down. In fact, I think the coolest shot is that one where the Batmobile sort of like takes that hard right turn, and then you see that parademon just get skewered on like a piece of wreckage. That's like, I think that's such a cool moment. I think it's just the visual of that big honking gun on top of the Batmobile. That's for me.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But I mean, you said it when you were talking about it, but I mean, dude, Aquaman's riding on the Batmobile in a movie. I mean, how is that not the coolest thing ever, You sort of, you talked about, the enjoyment you get out of watching a Batmobile chase and everything. That's really what I thought about when making the list. And it's not, it's not how I feel about the movies themselves. It is just the individual chases. And this is one where, yes, in part because of all the other stuff that's happening around the Batmobile, but it is part of the same chase scene. And like I said, you get Aquaman riding on the Batmobile. That's just so badass still all these years later. I have a ton of fun watching this scene, so that's why it's at number 4 for me.
No, that's fair. And again, from 7 up, I'm not really arguing much, except for maybe number 1. I might argue with you to number 1, but as far as 7 to 2, a case can be made for almost anything, and I'd be like, yeah, that's fair. So my number 4 is Batman 89, Escape from the Museum.
Oh wow.
Again, I was separating my love of the car from the actual sequence. The sequence, much like Batman Returns, I think is such a good time. What holds it back is that they couldn't get too fast, at least during the chase part of the sequence. But I like the gadgets. I like that grapple hook that allows him to take that hard right turn, or left turn, excuse me. I like when he does that, how the Joker's cars, just go careening into that stuff because they can't make the turn. I love those Joker cars with the Christmas lights in the back window. The reveal of the Batmobile in this is amazing as they run out of the museum. It's funny because with the Batman, a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, best Batmobile reveal," and I'm like, "Yeah, you might be right." But then as I was looking at these and making this list, I was like, the Batmobile reveal for most of these movies is really good. Mm-hmm. Like, it seems like every director knows the Batmobile reveal has to be an awesome moment, and because the reveal here in Batman 89 is awesome, the one in Batman Begins is awesome, the one in The Batman is awesome, the one in BVS is awesome, like, and they all are very similar. If like the lights go on and there we go. But anyway, so Batman 89, The Escape from Museum, it's not super long, again, if to the point where if you're only counting up until where they get out and the shields come on, but oh my God, the shields come on. Maybe that's not part of the chase, but that's still an awesome gadget, an awesome moment.
And they come on a lot better than they do in Batman Returns too.
Well, I don't know. I like them the same.
I really
you don't like
the shields in Batman. No, I've never liked them in Batman Returns. I don't know. I just don't. I really like them in 89.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, I think I just have a really good time. I like the way the gadgets work. I like the shields. And then, yeah, if we're counting when they get back in the car, it's amazing. Like but I don't know if we count that or not. But if we do, that is one of my favorite Batmobile shots of all time, which could be its own episode. But yeah, so this one, if they could go faster, it would be higher. But even if they can't go fast, it's still just such a good sequence and a great showcase for this car. And that's number 3 now, Joe.
Yeah, my number 3 is Batman vs Superman. The white Portuguese is dead, bury it. For this one, listen, I get why most people hate this one, but I have to go back to how I felt in the theater the first time I watched this, which is different because it's not how I feel. Like, I remember how I felt, and I felt uneasy this whole scene. Go to what Brendan said. Yes, it's a little murdery. I appreciate that this chase scene made me feel how I was supposed to feel. You're supposed to be uncomfortable in this scene at what the Batmobile is doing. But even that aside, the Batmobile does some awesome stuff in this scene. And again, even if you don't like the film, the chase itself is pretty crazy. And listen, you want to get into the whole murdery stuff? Listen, if you really want to convince me, and I love Batman Begins, if you really want to convince me just because Alfred says nobody died, fine, whatever. But
I mean,
I'm not gonna
you could also say that about the Batman, right?
you could say that about any of them. Like, honestly, they're fine in this one. Like, who's to say they died? I didn't see a body. Like,
was that Zack Snyder? They're fine. They're fine.
Yeah, they're fine. Don't worry about it. They're fine. So again, listen, I get the criticisms of it, but I'm supposed to feel uneasy in this, and the Batmobile is a beast in this scene, and it is shot well. It is just exciting. And I really do just enjoy the chase itself. I get the criticisms, but I can't help but love it. And I love the film. So that does definitely skew my judgment a little bit. And like Brendan said too, like ending with him, coming face to face with Superman. And you see all the destruction the Batmobile does this entire chase scene. And then Superman just stops it like on a dime and destroys it. That's the whole point, is to see how invincible this Batmobile is for 3 minutes, and then Superman just stops in front of it and the thing is destroyed. So yeah, I love the scene. Awesome.
Well, I'll jump in just because this is also my number 3.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think for all the reasons you said, it's funny that when Brendan was talking about it, he used the term murdery. You just did, and a couple of folks on the page when they voted, they said the same thing. They're like, "Oh, I'd rank it higher. It's just too murdery." And
I didn't even see that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's still the chase. Like,
it made me laugh.
Ranking the film. Yeah, I don't know.
But I like I feel exactly the same way. That is honestly, if it wasn't so murdery, it could be number 1. Because aside from that aspect of it, what a great action sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God. Like, I mean, when that Batmobile revs up, and this is a Batmobile where you've got the speed, you've got the power, you've got the gadgets, the amount of stuff he does with the Batmobile in this chase.
Oh, yeah.
The way it's shot is beautiful. I love the angle that Zack Snyder chose just of Batman driving the Batmobile. It's sort of this weird 3/4 angle down, and it was a very different way of looking at Batman driving the Batmobile, and I just love it. He looks so good when he does it. Yeah, the shots from behind when he has sort of the, I don't know what you call them, kind of the flares to draw fire. The grapple, he has his own version of the grapple gun. Like, It's a great action scenes. It's beautifully shot. It's beautifully edited. The effects are fantastic. The only issue is the fact that he's just so ruthless in the scene, and I wish so much of it wasn't gunfire coming from the Batmobile. I'm okay with gunfire at the Batmobile, but the gunfire from the Batmobile bothers me. I totally understand your point, Joe, where, yeah, that's kind of the point. This is a Batman who's lost his way. I get it.
Uncomfortable watching this. Like that, I still remember you saying, like, you were watching BVS and you were like, all right, when's it going to happen? When's the turn going to happen? Why does everyone hate this? And this is how I felt watching this scene. This is where everyone started to hate it.
Yep.
But I still love it.
The one for me is the guy in the back of the truck and the Batmobile just completely cuts him down, like flying through there. I'm like, geez, Zach, you didn't need to have, like, if it was just the truck, would have been awesome. It's like, you didn't need to have a guy there.
Yeah,
but again, like, I don't want to get into the whole debate of the film itself, but that's the point. Like, he's showing, listen, this is a big tank of a Batmobile. People are going to die in these chases. So why hide it? Embrace that. And that's what he did. And yeah, I know people don't like it, and I get it. I did not like it the first time I saw it either until I realized what was happening.
Yeah.
I still cringe at that one part, though.
Me too.
And I cringe in a giddy way now. Like, as stupid as that is, like, I just love it.
Yeah. So it's funny because I totally agree. And just on a recent episode, someone asked, oh, what's a choice you would have changed? And for me, this was what I brought up. I was like, man, I just rewatched this, and God, what a sequence. But I just wish he wasn't so Punisher-y, I think was as I said. Like, there was a way to make that point without it going this extreme. It just felt like too much. But again, that aside, it's just a freaking exciting and awesome action sequence and a great Batmobile showcase sequence. I love it. So yeah, it was higher for me than I even expected. But again, when I was kind of going by the criteria that I set up, I was like, no, that's a great sequence. And
he looks enormous the way he's shot in the Batmobile too. Like, he just looks like he's uncomfortable sitting in the car. Yeah, he's so big.
Well, and then like you said, Joe, like, what a great way to end it, where it just hits Superman like it's a gumball, just dink, and that's awesome. So yeah, I'm with you on this one.
And if you want to go further, you could end it where he's getting out of the Batmobile, which is one of your favorite shots of the film.
I was about to say that too. Like, we should probably mention the way this car enters the Batcave, as if you wanted to call that the end. It's the best.
It's the best.
So good.
Yeah, it's great.
And what did Richard Citrone say? The Texas Switch, where they.
Yep.
Yeah.
But for anyone who's like, I can't place it higher because it's too murdery, I get it. I don't even disagree. But that's my number 3.
I mean, I would have swapped it with Batman versus Superman. It would have probably been my number 4 and Justice League my number 5 if it weren't for just the old mate getting cut in half by the car.
Yeah. So anyway, what's your number 3, Brendan? That's ours.
My number 3 is The Dark Knight. Slaughter is the best medicine.
Ah.
Now, the only reason this isn't in my top 2 is because, to me, the chase really gets exciting when it's the Batpod.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not technically the Batmobile, even though it comes from the Batmobile. Like, I know this is an argument we were making about, where do we end this scene, or, or then if, do we then include the Batpod chase in The Dark Knight Rises because it's out of the Batmobile, but it got a bit too all over the place. But it's a great scene. I love the look on Joker's face. When you hear the car in the distance, and how he just sort of looks out the truck and's like, huh.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. I love Batman obviously doing the jump to protect, what would you call it? It's not really a paddy wagon, like the police armored vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the SWAT van or whatever.
Yeah, it's I mean it's more of what we saw in Batman Begins, which is fantastic. Not to bury the lead or anything, but for me my favorite parts are when it's the Batpod. That Batpod flying through. Is it like a shopping mall? Even just like the fun part with the kids in the car. Like, I mean, I literally can remember doing this as a kid. I'd be in the car while mum and dad went to do something, or my grandparents used when it was okay to leave kids in cars, and I'd be sitting in the car with like my finger guns pretending to be Batman or James Bond or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
And and then the kids doing that, and the look on their faces, it's amazing.
It's a good thing there was nobody in those cars.
Obviously.
Right?
I mean, obviously Batman knew there was nobody in any of those cars.
Yeah, and just like the shot of the guy in the like picking his teeth in the mirror, and just the sparks, the tink 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 as the mirrors each one go, like that's really cool. I know, and the money shot for Nolan in that movie was the truck flip. That's meant to be the holy shit moment. For me, the holy shit moment is what the Batpod does after that. How it does the sort of goes up the wall and then turns around.
Yeah. Yep. Flipping the Batpod. Mm-hmm.
I love that. That to me the first time but the first time I saw The Dark Knight, because not saying it took away from it, but we saw the truck flip in the trailer. So it was just more of a case of, okay, this is when this happens. Mm-hmm. But I had no idea the Batpod could do that. Like, that was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I if the whole thing was still the Batmobile, yeah, and another this is something I've noticed, and I've watched it countless times. Jamie's probably going to be qualified to answer this, because we know how many times he's seen this movie. When the Batmobile when it's flipping over, I'm positive they've edited it so it lands the right way up, because when
it's edited poorly.
Yep.
Because I've always thought it's like that lands upside down.
Yep. And then it cuts and it's right. Yeah.
Thank Christ, I'm not the only person that's noticed.
Oh, I've noticed it since 2008.
2008. Okay, cool. Because that's always kind of just bugged me. Every time I watch it, I'm like, I'm positive it lands upside down.
But I'm convinced if this movie came out this year, people would be ripping it apart for stuff like that. But we just don't, because we love this movie.
Yeah, I mean, look, the way the Batpod ejects from the Batmobile is awesome. Like, it to me, and it is all part of the same chase, which collectively is great. But if we're just focusing on Batmobiles, like I said, for me, it's just that the best parts of it don't technically involve the Batmobile.
Yeah. Okay, Joe, what's your number 2?
Keep it consistent. My number 2 is The Dark Knight.
Okay.
I love this scene, and I'm with you, Brendan. Yes, the best parts of this are the Batpod, but we were counting all of it, and even the stuff before it with like you said, the Batmobile saving them, and I mean, really just copy and paste everything you've said. I really can't add to it. That even with the money shot being in the trailer, just seeing how he does it while the film is happening, it's ending with "Hit Me" from the Joker. Such an iconic scene. There's nothing that we can't praise this one enough. I absolutely love it. It is my number 2. It's not my number 1 for a reason, but it's pretty solid being a number 2.
Then I'm gonna jump in because it's my number 2 as well. And I mean, you guys said it all. It was one of those things where I'm like, if you're only counting the part when it's completely the Batmobile, there's not much of it. But it's the whole sequence. It's all the same action sequence. It's all part of the same chase. If I count the whole thing, it's fantastic. It's another centerpiece action set piece of the film, and it's awesome. And when you get that reveal of the Batmobile or the Tumbler, and you're right, the Joker's reaction is awesome. And then when it takes the damage and it shields and it does that jump, And yeah, we knew that Batman rode a Batpod in the movie. We knew that the truck was going to flip, but sitting in the theater and watching the Batpod eject from the tumbler was just a mind-blowing moment. And then, yeah, flipping the Batpod after he flips the semi is so badass. Like, there's so much great stuff in this sequence. My only nitpick, and maybe this is a hot take, it bugs me a little bit that they don't have any music in the chase until the Batpod ejects. It's weird.
Yeah, that's true.
It's weird that they don't have any score, and I think that takes it away from it a little bit. But when the Batpod does eject and then the score finally kicks in, where it hadn't all the way up until this point, it's amazing. So yeah, this is a terrific sequence. Much of the marketing was around this. The Batpod was the centerpiece of the iconography of the film because of the sequence, and the sequence does not disappoint. It's awesome. From the moment the chase starts, before Batman even shows up, all the way to hit me and him choosing not to hit the Joker, that this entire sequence is just fantastic. And that's what's my number 2. What's your number 2, Brandon?
My number 2 is Batman 89, Escape from the Museum. Call me crazy, but I honestly thought our number 1 and number 2 would have been the same, Andy, if not even swapped. But look, it's been 30 something years now since this movie came out, 33. And I still, when Batman slides across the museum and Joker's like, where does he get those wonderful toys? I sit forward on my seat. I really do. Like, it's the best Batmobile reveal shot ever. Mm-hmm. Yes, the chase is slow and everything. I mean, the car's huge. There's a reason why it needs that grappling gun to take that corner. If it was any of the other ones we've talked about, it just would have like flown over the median strip and probably run into that to the pole that he uses to anchor the car. But it's just gorgeous to watch that car in an action scene. And as much as I didn't like, sorry, I should rephrase that. As low as I had the Batman Returns one, it's still aesthetically just stunning. And I mean, the chaos of it all, like I love the fact that there's just, this in the middle of the CBD, there's just this old farm truck full of cabbages. Like that's so bizarre, but I love it. And I love the old sort of 80s beat up shitty look of the Joker's, henchman's car and cars and everything. Like, and I did, like, I included from, getting the car, which one, to when they arrive in the Batcave. And I mean, it's part of the same scene, so we'll mention it. Like, I do really like the fight that Batman has with Joker's thugs and everything, and like the little bit of humor in it, like, you weigh a little more than 108, stuff like that. But, the shields, like I said, that to me as a 6-year-old when I first saw this movie, like, that was amazing. The fact that they just kind of like materialize and everything, that was so freaking cool. And I'm still so angry that original Batmobile from the Batman 89 toy line, how it came with the shields, that my dad threw out because he just thought it was part of the packaging. Like, he honestly just thought it was part of the packaging, and I'm like, I was heartbroken. Still am, because I still don't have it. But like, I love the shields, and I love the way that the car is voice controlled and just drives by itself, and the whole stop, right at Batman's like a millimeter from running him over is awesome. And then of course the score, as you see the Batmobile just roaring through the countryside, making its way to the Batcave, and that's where you really get to see the speed of the car.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It just still to this day gives you goosebumps. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I mean, that shot of it racing through the forest and that music crescendos and the leaves are being blown out from the speed of the car. Yeah, I mean, it might be my favorite Batmobile shot in all media. It's so beautiful.
Yep.
Cool. All right. That leaves us all... to number
I wonder
one?
what our number one will be.
Oh, interesting. I guess that's true. Joe, want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, drum roll, please. It's Batman Begins. I think we all are in agreement here. Man, I just love the scene. There's the any speculation that anyone had about whether we were going to like the Tumblr or not, based on just the images. Because honestly, I don't even remember. I didn't follow Batman Begins as much as we follow things now. I was just out of high school. It was kind of like not on my radar as much. But man, sitting in the theater seeing that chase for the first time, even still to this day, there are little gripes I have of the scene. But man, it's just a blast from start to finish. Just seeing him, it's literally just a chase. They're just chasing him. He's just trying to get out of there. And I mean, seeing the car jump from rooftop to rooftop, seeing the cops just confused at how to describe it. And I mean, you guys can talk more about it, so I don't hog everything, but it's just so much fun. So go ahead, go tell your parts.
Brandon, keep going.
You're right for me. I think, and when I was really thinking about it last night, and I said just before with my number two, I sit forward in my chair. This one, I like that phrase you use, Andy, all the time, like you had your whole seat, but you only used the edge of it.
Mm-hmm.
This is still me with this chase all these years later. I absolutely love it. And I think the thing that adds to this chase is it's the only one out of all the previous 8 that we've mentioned. Yes, it's a chase, but there's also a ticking clock.
Mm-hmm.
And, that just adds so much more to it, in my opinion. Like, he has to, obviously he has to escape the police for obvious reasons, but he has to get Rachel to safety because she is about to die and she is in the car with him. And that's an element that isn't in any of these other chases. And it adds so much excitement and thrill and, it's amazing. And I can still remember opening day of this movie, sitting in the theater, and the sound of those big rubber tires spinning on the asphalt, and the skid sounds that they make and everything. It was just so good. And this was the template that I was using for the Batmobile from the Batman, because going into Batman Begins, it's what brought me back to being a fan. I've said that a million times over the last 6 years on this show, but it is because of Batman Begins. And I started to follow that movie probably, I think it was around sort of the previous October, November. I didn't even know it was coming out. I just saw a teaser trailer before Dodgeball, and then I started seeing stuff online. And that's when I first saw those still photos of the Tumblr in, like, essentially a back paddock, somewhere in England. And it did, like, it looked like some sort of tractor. Like, I had no idea what this thing was supposed to be. But the second that scene starts, it just completely, it's such a unique look. But to me, it's still, there's those shots of it from side on going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. It almost looks like a bat flying with its wings back into, like, it's just so good. And sadly, the chase in the Batman didn't win me over like this one did. But I can forgive a lot of things too. Like, a lot of people like, there's no way that car could have landed on those roofs. Like, I get it. Like, structurally, it's not gonna, the roof of a building, an old tiled roof, isn't going to support the weight of that car. But who gives a shit? Like, it's awesome. And just the running commentary of, the cops with their radios and everything, which again, there's an editing error in that one because you see the same cop twice in 2 different locations. But it's little forgivable things that you go along with it because the chase is just so freaking good. And it makes me want to sit down and watch it, to be perfectly honest. This was always going to be number one for me. Yeah. Always.
Yeah. Same here. This is, I think, the gold standard of Batmobile chases on film. Like you both said, I was not in love with the look of the Tumbler prior to going into this movie, but this sequence is so good it made me a believer. Because the Tumbler not only was fast, but it could jump, it could leap. The way Batman, in order to use the weaponry, the way his seat slid over and then down into the nose of the Tumbler was so unique, but awesome. So it was like the gadgets and it was the car itself and what it could do. And just the way it is shot and edited, it is so exciting. It's so fun. And I think how I described it when we looked back at this film years ago, I said, this sequence to me is like summer movie heaven. It's like exactly what you want from a good, awesome, entertaining summer movie. It's this action sequence because it checks all the boxes. It's exciting, it's fun, it's intense. Like you said, it's a great point. I didn't even think about it. The ticking clock adds so much to it as well of why he's got to get out of there. The music, this is why I put this over Dark Knight. The score during the sequence is fantastic and it adds so much, especially the moment where the music drops out when Batman turns off all the lights on the Tumbler and they lose it. And they're like, how could you lose it? How could you lose it? And then the lights come back on and the music kicks right back in. It's so awesome.
Second best piece of music in that whole trilogy.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing. This sequence is just up there with the very best. It's it might be my favorite action sequence in the entire trilogy. It's just awesome. And going into the movie, I was like, I don't know if I like the new Batmobile. I walked out of Batman Begins going, that was awesome. So, yeah, it's great.
This is one of those scenes where I hate when people criticize Nolan and say he can't shoot action. You can have a problem with Nolan shooting fight scenes. I can kind of agree with that. But don't say Nolan can't shoot action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree.
I think people really put them two together too much because Nolan shoots the hell out of action in all of his movies, and especially in the Batman movies. I love the action he shoots.
Well, and it's funny because, yes, like I do think that his fights in the Batman trilogy are like not always the best, but every chase sequence in his trilogy is fantastic. We didn't talk about Rises, but those chases are great too. So no,
that opening chase with all the cops closing in on the Batpod, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So no, I completely agree with you on that. But I think Batman Begins is the top of it. And I will also say this: Batman Begins had a GameCube game, which was also the PS2 game, and
PS2 game was rad.
Oh, it was so good. It was the same game. It was such a great game, and the Batmobile chase sequences were so fun, and because it made me feel like I was living this scene. So, yep, Batman Begins. We're all in agreement.
One of the rare video games that I actually played all the way through to completion.
Me too.
It was a great Batman game.
Yep, agreed.
I unfortunately missed that one. I never had it. I bought it years ago on sale without even a system to play it, so I've never played it.
It's great.
I bought it just to have it because I'm like, someday I'm going to find a way to play this, and I've never played it.
Mm-hmm. So... awesome. We're all in agreement. Batman Begins, number 1. Sweet. Want to hear how the listeners voted?
Of course.
All right. Always fun. Here we go. I'm going to make sure that I got it sorted correctly. Okay, here we go. Number 9, coming in dead last, surprising no one, Batman and Robin.
As expected.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you'd expect. Number 8, right there behind it, Batman Forever. Again.
Did I surprise you with me having it so low?
A little bit.
I was very surprised. Even the people that love the movie still put that pretty low on their lists.
Yeah. I mean,
I was very surprised by that. Yeah.
I'm a realist.
Well, that's good.
I said, I can see all the faults in Batman Forever, and it's completely nostalgia why it ranks so high for me as a movie, but it's not a good scene.
Yeah.
Because you guys were sort of hanging shit on me the other night about where I'd put it, and I'm just like, it's second to last. Like, you'll see.
All right. So yeah, that was number 8. Number 7, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, that surprises me.
Yeah. And I do wonder if it was, the same reason this is where I had it, was just because it is a Batmobile chase, but the Batmobile's not entirely the star of it. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but
Yeah, I could. I mean, we all even kind of said that. Even if we had it higher, we agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, number 6, Batman Returns. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. Number 5, Batman v Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Where I had it.
There you go. Number 4, The Batman.
I'm surprised that wasn't a little bit higher, I must be honest.
Me too.
It's the best car and the best chase ever.
I think just the I think everyone who voted was a little more, a little more just like even keeled about the whole thing. Yeah. Number 3, Batman 89. And then this is surprising. Number 2, Batman Begins.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
I didn't either. And number 1 is The Dark Knight.
I'm not going to argue it though.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah. I honestly, it's funny. I love seeing the listener votes like I did for the Batman film rankings because no 2 entries were the same, which I think is always really fun. But I do think that through the votes, there's sort of an equilibrium that we achieve, and we end up with a list that's like pretty damn good,
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel pretty good about this list. It's not my list, but like when I look at it, I go, yeah, I can live with this list.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it.
And I think the Dark Knight chase as a chase, I would probably put it higher than Begins. It's just the Batmobile itself.
Yeah.
In Begins. Yeah.
That's fair. So there you go. Thank you to everybody who voted. I do love tallying these things. It's super fun. And again, the way it all kind of shook out, I think is totally reasonable. I think that works. Very cool. So this was fun. Batmobile chases again. Big shout out to Chris out there for the idea. It was a good idea and we had a good time doing it. But we're not ready to say goodbye just yet because we do have to crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
Derek, what is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. This is all, Master Wayne.
And we still have a shitload, but we're going to try and do as many as we can. And what can you do? So here we go. The first one up here is from Alex Haralabidis. It says, gentlemen, it finally happened. I managed to catch up and listen to the whole BatCast back catalog. Wow, Alex, that's a lot. He says, while I've sent the odd Twitter message, I've waited patiently to get to the end before sending an actual email. However, firstly, I just want to say that the pod as a whole is just magnificent. I love hearing all your opinions on everything Batman. I felt genuine excitement in the lead up to your thoughts on BVS, etc., and hearing all of your many theories about what may or may not happen with the benefit of already knowing. And you guys did pretty well with your predictions. Andy, congratulations on the wonderful news of your daughter. Good luck. Enjoy every moment. Brendan, I'm from the UK, so I find many of the things that you say that are lost on the other two hilarious and often close to home.
Appreciate the introduction of the C word too.
Yeah, and he says, HBO Max, anyone?
Yep.
And he says, Jamie, love you. It says, thanks for addressing many serious and not so serious issues throughout the years and keep up the amazing work. Sorry for the long email. My questions will follow later. Take care, Alex in the north of England. Oh, thank you, Alex. And God, you listened to freaking over 300 episodes of this. That's crazy. All right. And then he did write almost quickly with his question. He said, there have been 11 live action versions of The Dark Knight, and I want to choose you one film for 11 different aspects of Batman. However, you can't choose one film more than once. Oh man, that says, for example, if you choose your favorite Batsuit as Batman 89, then you can't choose something else from 89. So here you go. Your favorite Bruce Wayne, Batman, Alfred, Gordon, Batsuit, Batmobile, Batcave, Gotham, villain, score, fight scene. Mine are in brackets.
Wow.
I really wanted to use
This is an episode.
Yeah, that's its own episode. You're right. I mean, we kind of did something similar recently, but we were able to use the same one twice. I think that's the tricky part. Is like I think these are easy answers except for not being able to use it twice.
That's fun though. That's really cool.
Oh.
Because there's no way I'm not having the Martha rescue, but then that means I can't have the Affleck suit.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Dude, this is hard, Alex. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we'll try. I can't promise not to use something twice, but we'll try, and we got to do it quick.
Wait, did he say 11 films?
He said 11 live versions. I don't quite know if he means by movies or...
I think there's 11 movies.
Yeah. Okay, so
you could cheat and do the Justice League suit.
Oh,
right.
Good call. Thank you.
Right.
If you think that's a close second, you could do that. That's tough, though.
Yeah, it is. Oh, but see, the way he's got it is like Begins is different than The Dark Knight, which is different than The Rises. So you can
Exactly.
do. Okay. Favorite Bruce Wayne, Joe?
Oh, but I can't use it again. So I'll say Rises.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I wouldn't pick Rises for anything else, maybe. So let me try Rises for that one.
I know. Well,
but like, I don't even remember what the other questions were. Like,
Oh,
it was Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne, Batman, Alfred Gordon, Batsuit, Batmobile, Batcave, Gotham, villain, score, and fight scene.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bruce Wayne for Rises.
Okay.
I'll see how I back myself into a corner.
Okay.
after that, but...
Brendan?
I'm going to go Bruce Wayne from Joss Whedon's Justice League.
Oh.
Now wait a second. Is that included in the 11?
I think that's a cheat, but this is a very hard assignment, and I'm going to go with the one Alex said because it seals. I'm going to say Batman and Robin because what else am I going to use Batman and Robin for?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. I'll use that for Alfred.
That's what I was about to say.
Oh, good.
That's what I was about to say.
Good.
Because they're all good. All the Alfreds are good. So you just...
You're right. Oh my god.
No, too late. Too late. You already picked it.
Okay, fine. Batman. Joe.
Damn. I will go... Oh, wow. But all right, I'll do Zack Snyder's Justice League for Batman.
Okay, Brandon.
Zack Snyder's Justice League for Batman.
All right, I'm just make it 3. That's fine. Works for me. Alfred. Joe.
Batman and Robin. That was a great idea.
Brandon.
Batman and Robin.
Okay, I'll go Batman Forever. Same idea.
Oh yeah, what the heck am I going to pick Batman Forever for?
Gordon. Joe.
Yeah, that's no. Oh, I thought you were telling me to pick Batman Forever for.
No, that's the next question. Gordon.
I will do the Batman for.
Okay, that's good.
Gordon.
That's good.
I think that's a good one. I'm gonna end up with something really bad left over.
I know. Brendan.
I was about to say the Batman as well for Gordon.
Okay, I'm gonna say Begins for Gordon. Batsuit, Joe.
Joss Whedon's Justice League.
Okay. Brendan.
Oh, hang on. I think I've screwed myself here
Probably.
because I've already said. Oh, okay. Because when you said Batman, I thought that it was like Batman included the suit as well.
No,
Oh shit.
Yeah, I took your plan and I turned it on itself.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Okay. So I can't have the Affleck suit because there's no way I'm not having the Martha rescue. I'm going to have to sacrifice the Affleck suit. You know what? I'm going to go the Panther suit from Batman Forever.
That would have been my next choice if I couldn't do it. That's a smart idea.
Okay, that's a good idea. I'm gonna say, God, I'm gonna say 89.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm writing out a tally sheet so I can keep track of this. BVS, JL, Zack Snyder's JL, and the Batman. Okay, next one up is what? The Batmobile. Joe.
I feel like when you did the list, there were 12.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, 11. And that includes both versions of Justice League, so I guess that's fair.
Does that include 66?
It does not include 66.
Oh, it doesn't include 66.
Okay.
Not according to his email. It does not include 66.
That's fine.
So,
all right. So what's
that's
next?
fine. So what did I say? Sorry, Batmobile.
Because I would have done 66 as the Batmobile. All right, so I'll go Begins for the Batmobile.
All right, Brendan.
I'm trying to think what I've done.
I backed myself into a corner with that. I shouldn't have done that. I should have done Burton.
Can you tell what are the options for what we need again? Is there a Catwoman in there?
No. After this, it's Batcave, Gotham, villain, score, and fight scene.
Oh, okay. I'm good.
Okay.
Alex, your email is not conducive to quickly getting through emails.
Okay.
I love you and I appreciate the message, but man, this is like SAT. Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to go Batman Returns for Batmobile.
That's a great choice. I'm with you on that.
Smart.
Let's do that.
Because I'm saving 89 for something.
Oh.
Yep. You got Score and Batcave. Those are my two for 89.
Oh God, Score!
I've been saving Score for 89.
Mine actually worked out better than I expected.
Oh. Damn it. Okay.
Brendan saved me with the Justice League.
You could go Returns for Score because it's very close.
But I just said Returns for Batmobile.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? No, I'm talking about you. Did you say that as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, you screwed then.
Yeah, I'm screwed. Okay, what's the next one? Batcave, Joe.
All right, so Batcave, I'm going to go 89.
All right. Brendan?
I want to say 89, but I'm saving it. I've used Returns. I think I'm going to have to... I haven't used Batman Begins yet, have I?
I don't think
I might
so.
have to go... No, I think I might have to go Begins for the Batcave. Yeah, actually, I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm going to go with Justice League. Because it's the same one as BVS and Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, yeah, I'll do that for Batcave.
It's actually bigger. In Justice League, he includes the carrier as part of the Batcave.
Okay. See? Well, I'm going with that. Okay. Gotham, Joe.
Oh, I did not remember that one. Okay. So I still have the Dark Knight, I think. Do I want that? I did Rises, so I got to choose either the Score for the Dark Knight or Gotham for Dark Knight, and then the opposite would be Returns. Oh, you know what? I'll go Forever for Gotham, which is not a good idea.
At a certain point, sacrifices must be made.
So, oh man, I screwed myself bad. So, the three choices left are Gotham, Villain, and Score.
And Fight.
Okay, I know what Fight is. So Gotham.
And we all know what Fight is.
Wow. All right. Yeah. So that's things. I gotta go Gotham for Batman Forever.
Okay. I'm sorry, Brendan.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I think so. I've still got Dark Knight and Rises in there as well. So I'm gonna go Rises for Gotham.
For Gotham, I'm going with the Batman. Come on, y'all.
I've already used that for Gordon.
Oh, well. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I was
If
saving
we
it.
planned this out, it would have been better. It's more fun that we didn't get to plan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
You're right.
Thinking on our feet.
So that's exactly why I saved the
Because
Batman.
yeah,
was
like
for
my
Gotham.
Gotham ideally would have been 89 or the Batman. But
Yeah.
It's kind of like doing a fantasy football draft and having no planning whatsoever.
And see, this is the thing. This is why one of these drafts would be really, really fun to do. They're just really hard to organize.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is villain, Joe.
Dark Knight.
Brendan.
Dark Knight.
Me too. Make it 3. Score, Joe.
I have returns for that. Yeah.
That's a great score. That still works.
Yeah, I actually like the score for returns better than 89. So I was happy with that. Yeah.
Hot take.
I was about to say it's a good score, but it ain't as good as the one I've got, Batman 89, baby.
Well, I like the Christmas stuff, so.
Yeah. I got to go with Dark Knight Rises because I used 89, but Dark Knight Rises score is pretty damn awesome, so I'm not even that mad at it. And then fight. It's
Make it 3, I guess. The Martha Rescue.
Batman versus Mr. Freeze and Batman and Robin. Oh,
Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
hell yeah. Let me slide down this brontosaurus like I'm Fred Flintstone. Okay, good job, guys.
That was fun.
And now we're going to close up the Wayne Manor mailbox.
Right? And now we're 3 hours in. Geez. Okay, that was fun, Alex. Thank you for the challenge.
Yeah, I really would love to do an extended version of that. I've been trying to organize a Batman draft, whether on this show or the Nightlight, for years, and it's logistically a nightmare. Because you need someone who's not going to take part in it to organize it.
Yeah.
And that's the part that's hard. It's like if someone would just volunteer to be like, okay, I'm going to run it. Then
Yeah.
Which they sort of need to pseudo host the episode too. So it'd be weird.
We know people.
We do.
Well, you can essentially run it even if you're involved in it, couldn't you? Just like doing a fantasy football draft, like the people that run that are involved in it.
I guess. I don't know. Just all the ones I've listened to, it's been people like an extra person who's kind of run it, who's not involved, just keeping score and tallies and everything.
Oh, okay.
It'd be a lot of homework for someone.
All right, let's move forward. Next message is from Todd Johnson. It says, "Hey guys, I listened to your spoiler review of The Batman, and I'm sorry you didn't love it. My experience was a lot more positive. In fact, I absolutely loved it. My opinion is that we're shown exactly what we were told year 2. I think a big point of the film is that Bruce is lost, alone, and doesn't trust anyone, including Alfred. He's surprised when Alfred can help him with puzzles. He does that childish comment about not being his dad. Alfred has to get him fully dressed by loaning him cufflinks. Alfred has to explain him that it's important that he also is Bruce Wayne and run Wayne Enterprises. The sloppy emo hair shows his youth and that this is not someone who has it all figured out. Even the car is in pieces at the start of the movie. The engine's not even in it. All this represents where Bruce is at this moment in time. Reeves is holding his cards very close to his chest and is only showing what he wants us to see. Unlike most Batman directors in the past, who seemed more obsessed with the rogues gallery than Batman, there's no doubt about it, this is a Batman story. This is how Bruce becomes the Batman we all know and love. I think in the next films, you'll see him using Alfred more. He'll start to make moves to rebuild Gotham as Bruce Wayne and become the face of Wayne Enterprises. I wouldn't be surprised if we get Lucius Fox with his tech to streamline the suit and the car. I think he takes so many gunshots because he hasn't learned to move like Batman and not take a direct hit. That will come. He was scared with the squirrel suit because he hadn't tried it yet. I think the landing showed the flaw in the design, which caused him to gain too much speed, and we'll get a gliding Batman next time. I feel like everything we want from our Batman is coming. After watching this movie, I'm very confident Reeves knows what he's doing, and we're going to get the best suit, the most badass Batmobile, and fight scenes ever. We're just going to have to be patient. Reeves is playing 3D chess with our hearts and minds. I don't think it's a coincidence that we got the most Batman moment of the movie at the very end, which I think we all agree in the flare scene. The scene alone told me that this guy gets it. Before I saw the movie, I agreed with you guys on almost every point, but now I feel like, you know what, maybe I don't know what I want, because this movie kicked my ass. Love you guys, keep up the good work. I get excited every time a new show pops up. Todd. All right, Todd, thank you so much for the message. And Joe, what do you think about Todd's take on the Batman?
I agree with everything he said. But I also can't fault people for being frustrated that I'm supposed to watch a 3-hour movie to fall in love with the next movie.
Yeah.
And again, I love this movie. I'm lucky enough where I did really enjoy it. But I can't get mad at people who didn't like what I liked, especially if the reason I liked it is because of what's to come. Most people that even didn't, I mean, I've heard you guys say it, even if you weren't crazy about this particular film, you're still really excited for what's to come. So again, everyone's kind of in the same boat. We're excited for what's to come. But it's okay if some people wanted more out of this particular film than what we might have gotten. And again, I'm fortunate that I bought into the film. I really did enjoy it. Is there stuff that I would have changed? Absolutely. I very rarely do I get what I actually want in these films, but I'm more likely to go with the filmmaker. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
All right, Brendan.
I don't want to sound like a complete dick, but there was a part in there where he was saying,
I sound like a complete dick.
But like there was a part where he's just like, this was Bruce learning to become Batman. I can't remember the exact wording that he used. It's
still not the Batman we know and love. Yeah.
We had a whole movie of that. We just talked about a chase scene from it. Like, am I wrong in saying that? Like, I understand the point he's trying to make, but the wording that he used was just like, this is Bruce learning to become Batman. It's like, well, yeah, no shit. I watched a whole 2-hour movie of that back in 2005. So that's my frustration. But everyone knows how I feel about it. Like, I genuinely like the movie, but this whole Reeves world is just not what I'm looking for at the moment. It's not what I want, but I'm just happy that what we're getting is good quality. It's a good quality and well-made movie that's really, really well acted, that just needs better aesthetics to get me over the line.
Yeah. No, and as far as Todd's ideas, I hope you're right, Todd. I hope that is true. But yeah, to what Joe said, like, and I even said this in my review, I'm like, this feels like the prequel to the movie I want to see. And I hope that's where it's going. And if it is, great. But yeah, I don't feel like you need to lay this much groundwork to get to a Batman movie that's a Batman movie. You know what I mean? And not that this isn't a Batman movie. That's not what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying is like, he's still not the Batman we know and love. It's still not the Riddler we know and love. It's still not the Catwoman we know. Like, yeah, well, give me the Catwoman. I want to know. Like, that's what I'm waiting for. So I understand the point. And yes, this is obviously a year 2 Batman who's still figuring it out. I'm less interested in that and more interested in what comes next.
It also is more ironic that like they kept specifying year 2. At this point, why wouldn't you have just called it year 1?
Yeah.
I mean,
it was almost like they were deceiving that way.
The only thing that makes it feel year 2 is that the journal at the start literally says year 2 on it.
Yeah. All right, what do we got here? Next question is from Nathan Toy. Nathan also sent another nice email about in the Q&A episode. He had sent kind of an email being like, hey, you guys only, you didn't like the Batman because it wasn't the movie you would have made. And he sent another nice email going, actually, after you guys kind of talked through it, I'm wrong. Like, that isn't what you had with it. So appreciate that, Nathan. But just in the interest of time, I'm not going to read every single email. I feel like I have to kind of do what I do with Disorder is read as many as I can, but I'm not going to get to all of them. And I just don't know if I ever will. So apologize to everybody. I'm going to do the best I can. But Nathan says, hey guys, I hope Andy's getting some decent sleep. To answer the Batmobile question on the last episode, I'd like to make some minor tweaks to it too. Most noticeably, some longer tail fins in the back that kind of look like bat wings, similar to Batman 89. I'd also like some fun gadgets, but other than that, it's about perfect. All my friends and I love the car. It's such a beautiful monster. Thanks for the great content. Thanks, Nathan. And yeah, I think it was on the Q&A episode where I asked, for everybody who loves it, do you love it like unequivocally, or would you also like to see it evolve into a more traditional Batmobile? And so it sounds like, Nathan, yeah, you would like to see it evolve a bit. I got a similar response here from Ron Messbarger. It says, "Hey guys, listening to your Q&A episode, Andy asked about the new Batmobile and if we'd like to see it changed. I'd love to see it morph into a more comic book Batmobile. What I like most about it is the over-the-top fantastic engine, and I want to see that amazing engine remain, but changing the body style wouldn't bother me." All right, thank you, Ron. I agree with that, and much like many of these Batmobile chases we talked about today, it's a Batmobile that gets a lot of damage over the course of the big chase, and so it would make a lot of sense for the body to get some love. I'm sure I have more of these. Oh, here's another one. Yeah, there's a few of these. This one's from our pal Cody Cash. It says, "Thanks for all the recommendations you had on our Universal trip. I wanted to follow up about the question about the Batmobile. I always want everything to grow and change, including the Batmobile. I love this one. It's going to be hard to beat for me personally, but I do want a new one for the next movie. I have my movie with this one. Give me a new one for the next movie. My question for this email is, how do you feel about the Bat bike in the final scene with Selena? I'm a motorcycle guy. I've been riding all my life, but the bike he rides earlier in the movie is a much better looking bike than the one it evolves to in the end. It looks bulky and awkward. I hope the Batmobile doesn't follow that example. Much love, Cody Cash." Thanks, Cody Cash. I actually mentioned this in the last episode I did with Brian and Jamie. I like the bat cycle at the end. I like that it has the little bat ears motif. And again, that's really all I need. Just a little something to make it a bat bike. So I dug it. I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be the same bike as he was riding earlier and he just sort of added to it. But I appreciated that it had a little more battiness to it. Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't realize it's two different bikes. I thought it was literally the same bike, and he just put the bat symbol on the front of it. Or maybe I misinterpreted what he was saying, but he just didn't like the bulkiness of the logo on the front of it.
Yeah.
But I'm a pretty, I'm a pretty easy lay with that. Like, yeah, just put a bat logo on the front of it, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't take much for me, and I fully admit that, like, it's stupid to complain about it, but I don't know. I just prefer it to have just some little accents or something. It doesn't need much. I mean, the Tumbler has no bat logos on it whatsoever, but for some reason I'm okay with it. I think it just...
Well, I think it's just because it still doesn't look like any other car. Yeah. It still looks super unique to Batman, you know?
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint. Like, I think that is it. I think if the design was a little different, I think what a lot of people, and I'm not trying to defend the car, but it's a lot bigger than what it looks like. Like, when we say, like, it looks like, I don't know, what is it, a Dodge Challenger or whatever, because it looks like a Dodge Challenger. Even though it's like a Dodge Challenger, like, ×2 in size, it still looks like that. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to differentiate that design.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
Yeah, that's it.
Fair enough. Brendan, what do you think about the bike?
So I'm just taking some notes for when I meet Joe in person with my Manscaped stuff. Just whack a bat logo on it. He's happy. Okay, cool. Just jotting that away for the future. Look, I like the bike. I actually thought the bike was really cool. I appreciated that it was subtle, but I appreciated that it had a bit of a bat motif to it. I mean, to me, that was more of a Batman vehicle than the Batmobile ever has been in this world so far. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon, the accent is plenty enough for me. You don't need a bat logo.
Good to know.
Joe, I want same question for you, just because I know that you and Eric over at the Fire Rises, you guys love the Batmobile. Do you want it to evolve, or do you want it to stay the same?
So, for the record, I do not love the Batmobile. I am definitely not as high on it as Eric. Eric, he absolutely loves it.
Something.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. To me, it works in the film.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I want it to evolve, and I'm pretty sure Eric wants it to evolve too. Like, Eric's not. I don't want to speak for him completely, but yeah, I think we both wanted to see it evolve. I don't know to what extent he wants it to evolve. Me, I'm okay with a lot. But Yeah, even something stupid like some red accents, like I think I've said that on the podcast before. Like, I'm very like superficial with it. I
Yeah.
don't need it to look practical at all.
No, I mean,
Like I even think the Batman and Robin Batmobile is cool looking. Like I know it gets made fun of a lot, but it looks like a Batmobile. I
yeah,
think
yeah. No,
it's
I
creative.
agree. I agree with that. It's kind of
It's even
ridiculous
better
and
in the
stupid,
flesh,
but
too.
I still kind of like it.
Yeah, give me flashy and gaudy. Like,
for
I'm
sure.
good with that.
Yeah, same. Well, and again, like much like the bike, like for the Batmobile, like I'm not asking for a lot, you know? I just want some more pronounced fins. I want maybe a more narrow nose. And just a little accoutrement to give it some pizzazz. I don't need, completely, I don't need the Batman and Robin Batmobile. Just give me a little bit of style. All right, and this is another email about the same subject. This is from our pal CJ Higgins. It says, "Hey, Bat fans, as someone who really loves the new Batmobile, I do hope that Bruce continues to build onto it or modify it as he sees fit. I will soft agree with Jamie that Bruce should have a whole new car, as Batman's garage is full of sweet rides, but I think seeing Bruce add to his current car and make it look more unique visually is something I'm hopeful for. The Batpod being a part of the Tumbler was unexpected. I don't remember if that was in one of the trailers or not. I do still love this current Batmobile. I've purchased 2 Lego versions of it. But here's a question for Brendan. Can you name the bikes and cars that Bruce has in Wayne Manor in Batman Forever? I always look forward to a new episode of Holy BatCast and your reviews of all things Batman, movies, comics, video games, animation, TV. It's always Batmania with Holy BatCast, your bat friend, CJ Higgins." Thanks, CJ. Always good to hear from you. And I don't know what you're talking about. I've got it on pretty good authority that I'm not a real Batman fan. The internet told me, so that must be true. So Brendan, can you name all the bikes and cars in Batman Forever?
Absolutely not. Because I am not a car guy. Like, I don't know, unless it's a really obvious, like, Aston Martin or Batmobile, I'm not your guy. I'm really not.
All right, that's fair enough. All good. What's funny though is, so it does seem like everyone, even the people who love this Batmobile, seems like they're good with it evolving, which is good to know.
Think so.
Yeah, good to know.
It seems like a theme with the film itself, where even the people that are high on the film that really love it, they love it because of what's to come, and they're just more okay with what we got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Moving forward, this message is from Steven. It says, "Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. 2 questions. Number 1, have you seen the recent concept art of the Batfleck batsuit that's been circulating? To me, it looks like the Begin suit and the Dark Knight suit had a baby. For me, we had perfection in BVS, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Number 2, in the Bat car intro in the Batman, is it just me, or does the car engine cut out and stall on Battinson? Or was it him revving the engine and suddenly stopping to intimidate the Penguin? After 2 viewings, that part's still not very clear. Maybe I'm missing something." Last 2 points on the Batman. I got Blade Runner vibes seeing Gotham Times Square during the opening, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. And to back you up on the Riddler not knowing who Bruce is, from memory, when Riddler says he was the only one we didn't get, the music stops, leading the listener to understand what's going on. Also, Batman steps into the light towards the glass to get closer to the Riddler once Batman realizes he doesn't know he's Bruce. Sorry for the long email. Bat hangers forever, Steven. Thanks, Steven. And yeah, I think I also discussed that with Brian and Jamie last time. But yeah, I think we're all pretty much in agreement now that the Riddler doesn't know who Batman is. So the concept art of Batfleck that was done for his version of the Batman, and then does the Batmobile stall out in that scene? I don't remember it stalling out, but I've only seen it twice, so I'm a little fuzzy on that, guys.
From my memory, again, only having seen it twice, and it's like coming up to 4 weeks ago since I have seen it, I sort of took it as the car was kind of lurching forward as a way of like taunting the Penguin and them. That's how I took it, because I'm like, surely to Christ he's not going to film the Batmobile stalling, and it's like, big reveal moment. Like, that's not a good idea.
Yeah. Joe?
So on first viewing, I actually did think it stalled out. And most of the time when I see these movies for the first time, my head's a little scattered. I'm too like excited to really focus on what's going on. And I will admit, I completely misread that scene the first time I saw it. I thought it stalled out. I thought that it was played for a laugh when I first saw it. I was very confused. And then the second time I watched it, I said, how the heck did I think that's what was happening? It clearly was he was just revving the engine up to startle them, and that was it. But I can sympathize because I thought that the first time. I don't know why I thought that, but I did. So obviously other people have seen that too.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember, so yeah. And then the Batfleck artwork. Have you seen?
Yes, I've seen it. I tend not to put too much stake into concept art because you don't know how early it was or how much they were really going to use what was done. And it looks, even if it's the final version, can look very different than what is used in the actual film. I wasn't crazy about the design because I think, like Brendan said, like it was perfect. Don't, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
You stopped yourself there.
What did I say?
I thought you were about to say don't F with it.
Oh, no, I wasn't. I'm sorry. I was going to say don't fix it. But yeah, I
totally sound like you were censoring yourself.
No, I'm sorry. I prefer it to look closer to what it did in BVS. But if they changed it up, I would have been fine with it. Like I said, I'm normally pretty easy going with that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it. I did like it. I thought it was a cool looking suit, but I did not think it was an upgrade from BVS or even Justice League. Because on the artwork, it still looked all black. And I was like, no, we finally had the gray and black. Why would we go back to all black? But I still liked it. I still thought it was a pretty cool suit. So if that had been the one that had gotten made, I would have been cool with it. But yeah, I agree. I think BVS was still probably the better suit. All right, next message from Brian B. It says, hey guys, I hope you're doing well. I sent an email a few weeks ago, but after hearing you guys feel attacked and some of the jerks that you had to deal with because you pointed out some valid criticisms of a film, I felt the need to email you my support with a rare no question email. One of the strengths of your show is your willingness to accept people of different opinions. You guys never antagonize anyone over different beliefs. Personally, I don't always see eye to eye with you guys. I nearly went blind rolling my eyes when you guys were slobbering all over the Snyder Cut. Or when I hear Jamie and Brendan's views on Marvel. However, I respect you guys, and I understand that not everyone is going to have the same viewpoints as myself, and I can disagree while still being respectful. It's a shame not everyone can have that opinion, and hopefully we can reach a point where we can just be respectful of each other. In terms of the movie, I was in the B+ A- range, yet I still had issues with some of the Nolan ripoffs and plot choices. Andy, I believe you mentioned this in the prequel to the movie that you mentioned that this is the prequel to the movie you wanted, and I 100% agree. Ironically, this is the same problem I had with Man of Steel, which I did like, but the creators mentioned it was basically Superman #0, and the real trilogy was coming next. Despite this, I can't wait till 2025 or whenever the sequel comes out to see where the story is going next, because I think they did a lot right, and this has a lot of potential. As always, thanks for the hard work, and please remember there are far more people that have respect than there are of jerks and a-holes. Best of luck, and of course, Andy, congrats on fatherhood. Thank you, Brian B. I appreciate that message, appreciate the support, and yeah, man, like everybody's got different opinions, and at the end of the day, they're only movies. Although I do hate Joe now because he had Batman 89 at like number 7 or something ridiculous like that. So he's off the Christmas card list. Let me just scratch that name out right now.
Yeah,
but
it's been a long time since you're on the show, and it's going to be even longer before you're on again.
Yeah.
Well, I take you putting it at 4 as almost justification for me having it that low, because me and Brendan did not expect you to even have it at 4. That's like you having it at 7.
I mean, it just shows I can still be somewhat objective about these things.
Yeah.
Somewhat, of course. But yeah, we'll see you again in 2028.
Right around the Man of Steel sequel.
Yep, just by the time that happens. But anyway,
By the time Flash comes out.
don't.
That hurts deeper.
How dare you? Anyway, I appreciate the message, Brian, and appreciate the support. All right. Next message here is from Dave Chambers. It says, "Hey, Holy BatCast team. Andy, first and foremost, congrats to you and Catherine on your new baby. Harlan is beautiful. I'm sure you guys are excited. As a fellow Bat dad, parenthood is the best. I just finished your Batman film rankings episode, so this is an older email. We have a lot of them, like I said. There's something Jamie said I wanted to give a defense for. In the listener portion, where the Whedon cut ranked last next to Batman and Robin, I'd agree that purely on nostalgia alone, I'm not alone in that Batman and Robin was my first time seeing the dynamic duo on the big screen. I still remember to this day how that movie made me feel after we left the theater. I was shooting imaginary bat grappling hooks everywhere. Is it a good film? No, not by a long shot. But there are some good moments, particularly the scenes with Bruce and Alfred. Alfred's line to Bruce really summarizes Batman's mission. For what is Batman if not an effort to master the chaos that sweeps our world and attempt to control death itself? Due to pure nostalgic reasons, I will defend that film to my dying day. Anyway, Andy, Jamie, Brendan, thank you for always being entertaining and allowing me to enjoy Batman with fellow fans. Dave Chambers." Thanks, Dave. And yeah, I think that, there was a conversation towards the end of that episode where Jamie's like, how could anyone pick Batman and Robin over Justice League? How could anyone do that? And this is Dave's response. I'll just say that, Dave, that line from Alfred is probably my favorite part of Batman and Robin, because it's actually like a really great line amongst all the nonsense. So I'll give you that one. I still would rather watch Justice League, but I'll give you that one. All right, next message is from Julian. It says, "Hey, Holy BatCast crew. I just finished listening to your Q&A episode. And my answer to Andy's question about the Batmobile is I really hope they keep this look for future films. For me, personally, this Batmobile is in competition for my favorite along with the BVS Batmobile. I was also wondering if you guys plan on dedicating an episode to the first season of Peacemaker. Thanks, Julian." Thank you, Julian. And there you go. There's a vote for not touching the Batmobile. Yes, it's funny. Someone just called me out on this on Twitter, being like, "Hey, how is it that you guys haven't done a season 1 of Peacemaker yet?" And my answer is, my baby was born, and then the Batman came out. And because of those two things, it just fell by the wayside. I want to do it because, spoilers, I loved the first season of Peacemaker. We just got to loop back around to it. So it's just because there was a new Batman movie came out, and most people want to talk about that. But appreciate your input on the Batmobile. Okay, next message is from Eddie Bolton. It says, "Hey guys, first of all, I liked the Batman way more than you did. While I wish you had liked it as much as me, I respect your opinions and criticisms of the film. As someone who lives with a friend who gave the film 1 star and does similar to other films that I love, believe me, I've learned not to take these things to heart. You guys have been my favorite podcast for the past 6 or so years since I started listening, so thank you for being you." Oh, here it is. Look, "I will take issue with how you pronounce my fellow countryman's name. Barry Keon is pronounced Keon." I know now. If you still butcher this, I will ring the Holy BatCast voicemail. Good luck with that. I don't even think it still works. My question is related to Michael Keaton. As it seems he's being used in the greater DCEU as Batman, what future films would you like him to appear in? And not including Catwoman, what living supporting characters would you like to see return from the Burtonverse? A belated congrats on Harley, Andy, and best wishes to everyone, Eddie." Thank you, Eddie. And last message too. I appreciate all the kind words about little Harley. She is freaking gorgeous. And am I biased? Yes, but my God, I just can't handle it. So thank you. Thank you for that.
You're allowed to be. You're supposed to be.
I know. I mean, it'd be really weird if I was like, "Am I baby? Meh. She doesn't live up to the hype. She's kind of meh. Put her back in. She ain't done." Anyway, Eddie, thanks for the message. So, questions. What future DC movies would you like to see Michael Keaton's Batman show up in? And is there anyone else from the Burtonverse you would like to see return? Joe?
As far as Michael Keaton coming back, I really don't know. I mean, we know it's The Flash, and we know it's going to be Batgirl, or we assume it's going to be Batgirl. I honestly, this is going to sound like I don't want him, but like, I don't need him back. I will be okay with whatever he does come back for, but I can't think of a film that I'm like, oh, I need Michael Keaton back for this one.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a cop-out answer, but like I'm not gonna pick like Aquaman 3 or Wonder Woman
Yeah.
3. You know, I don't know what would fit. And if you're gonna bring him back for anything, if I have to give an answer, it would be a Batman solo film with him in it, or do a multiverse Batman movie where they all come back. I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of that would be a fair answer.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know if that'd work with a superhero property. Bringing them all back in the same movie.
Yeah, it hasn't been done before.
No one wants to see it.
No.
Nah.
Hey, someone criticized my views on Marvel movies just quietly. I watched that movie the other night and it was awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
I love that one.
It was great.
What do you think, Brendan?
Look, it's a hard question to answer for me because we don't know the context of his return. Like, we haven't seen The Flash yet, so we don't fully know what it looks like yet.
Are you saying you haven't heard we haven't yet seen Batman Return?
That is what I'm saying.
Okay, great.
But look, based on what we do know, if the Batgirl movie is a success, I'd love there to be like you wouldn't even really call it a spin-off, I guess, but like I'd love them to try and do a Nightwing movie.
Yeah.
And if Michael Keaton's Batman is the Batman from the world of the Batgirl movie, then I guess it would make sense for him to be in that.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's as near as I can come up with, just because I said without knowing the context of his return and what it looks like, it's hard. Because you're right, Joe. Like I don't want him in Aquaman 3 or Wonder Woman 3 or Shazam 3 or what. You know, like I need to see what the Batgirl movie and what is going to look like first, and you know what his return is going to look like in Flash.
Yeah. No, I agree with you guys. Like, of the slate that we know about, no other movie really makes sense for him to show up. So it would be essentially a theoretical movies that we think might happen, like a Nightwing, like another Justice League. Something like that would make perfect sense. But yeah, as far as the current slate of what we know is coming, he doesn't fit into anything else that I can really think of, other than the Flash and Batgirl. So yeah, not really sure. And then is there anyone? Oh, go ahead.
Brendan actually had the obvious answer, but it was too obvious he didn't want to say Batman Beyond. But I know that's really what Brendan wants.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah. And then anyone else from the Burtonverse you would like to see return? Joe?
That survived? They had to have survived.
I mean, the problem is so many. I mean, it's been so long.
I mean,
the options are limited.
Catwoman's the answer.
But he said not including Catwoman, which is obviously the answer.
Sorry, I didn't hear that part.
Which is obviously the answer, which is why he said that.
I mean, Knox?
Oh, hell yeah, Knox. Give me some of that. I mean, the other option is the Penguin, you know, because Danny DeVito is still kicking and he still seems to be doing great, and I think he could pull it off with the prosthetics and stuff. But yeah, there's not that many other options from the Burtonverse.
I mean, the other one's Billy D. Williams Two-Face, but I was never sold on him as Two-Face anyway.
Well, and also like, I mean, I know Keaton is older, but Billy D. Williams is really older, you know?
That's the thing, yeah.
And same thing with Jack Nicholson. Like, oh, would I love to see him return as the Joker? Sure, but Jack Nicholson he's an older man. Like, it would be tougher to pull off. The other one I think you could get away with is Vicky Vale.
Oh, that would work.
Because Kim Basinger still looks great. You know, she's talented. I don't know how or why you bring her back, but you could.
See, the thing for me too, I mean, like those first four Batman movies they're sold as the Batman quadrilogy. Like, you know, I know aesthetically and stuff they don't look the same, but it's meant to be the same Batman. So,
right.
I mean, you know,
technically
you could say Jim Carrey's Riddler.
Well, then technically you could say it's the same Two-Face. So technically Billy D. Williams became the Two-Face in Batman Forever.
I guess. I mean, you know, But I mean, yeah, for me, like that'd be one that I would like to see come back. If I'm going to cheat a little bit and say those first 4 movies, I mean, they are supposed to be the same guy.
Mhm.
I mean, I'd love to see Jim Carrey come back as the Riddler, and have the opportunity to do the dark, twisted version that we know is in him as an actor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nope. It's funny because if we were saying, he said the Burton verse, and so it's like, the Schumacher verse does feel separate, but if it's all included, yes, I would say bring back Jim Carrey as the Riddler. I agree with you.
I know it's a cheat, but there's just no one left. If I can't have Catwoman, there's no one really left in the Burtonverse. And no jokes aside from Knox, that I'd really be that interested in seeing.
Yeah.
But the Vicky Vale was a good call, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most realistic ones that you could still get away with, aside from Catwoman. All right. Moving forward, next message is from Muhammad. I'm not saying the rest of his name because he never likes that. He says, "Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Congratulations to Andy and your wife for your daughter being born on 2/22/22. What a cool birthday." She joins a list of awesome people who were born on February 22nd, including Steve Irwin. I didn't know that. I love that.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, I love Steve Irwin. It says, "I wish you and your family a wonderful life together, and also a belated happy birthday to Jamie. Also, not so Brendan doesn't feel left out. Congratulations to you and your family for achieving something recently that I'm not aware of." I mean, Henry's coming up on a year.
Henry's nearly 1.
Coming up
this
on
time
a
next
year.
month, I'll have a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
We've kept him alive for 11 months. That's something.
It's amazing. Anyway, it says, now that the link... there were so many things I was going to say, and then I just didn't.
Because you have to edit them out later? Or?
Pretty much. I couldn't pick a road of how best to go, and so I bailed. Sorry, guys.
Do you want to know a spoiler alert just quickly?
Yeah.
Steve Irwin was popular in Australia, but he was like, I think Americans love Steve Irwin more than Australians did.
I mean, probably we love that guy.
Not to say he wasn't well liked, but man, you Americans love Steve Irwin.
Oh, we do. I have a T-shirt with him where it says he changed our world, and I love him.
My first trip to America, I shit you not, I think it was like the 3rd day there, is when Steve Irwin died.
Oh.
And prior to that, every person that met was like, "Oh, Steve Irwin." It's like, "Yep." And then after that, it was like, "Oh, Steve Irwin." It's like, "Yep." I'm not kidding.
Sad. Anyway, says, I have some opinions regarding Catwoman. While I love the dynamic of will they, won't they between Selina and Bruce, I preferred Catwoman in a more antagonistic role rather than her current anti-hero role. I also dislike how Talia al Ghul has been portrayed in recent years. Rather than her being a person who loves Bruce but will continue choosing her father, she just becomes a very nasty villain who date rapes him. I love the Denny O'Neil portrayal of her character and dislike what she has become now. Do you have any unpopular opinions regarding Batman? Sorry for the long email. Regards, Muhammad Adil. P.S. A 6 out of 10 with the correct pronunciation. See, that's why I don't even try. I need a YouTube tutorial like
broken down like phonetically.
Yeah, with Barry Keoghan, which I'm sure I'm still probably saying wrong. God knows. Okay, so
yeah, I thought it was Keoghan.
Yeah, according to the YouTube video I was sent, there's no GH sound. It's Keoghan.
Yeah. Hey. Sure.
Sure. Okay, so interesting opinions about Catwoman. I agree with Catwoman. Like, she's essentially just become another superhero. And I liked it better when she was always in the middle, where sometimes she'd help out, but sometimes she would double cross Batman if it served her. I liked that better. I thought that dynamic was a little more exciting because now, yeah, she's just part of the Bat family, out there stopping bad guys. And I think that comics has a bad habit of doing that with some of our best villains, is these villains become so popular that they become heroes. And, like They did it.
I know it was an all right run, but Clayface was part of the
Clayface.
Batman.
I was just about to say that. I was like, that just happened with Clayface, right? Like let villains be villains. Venom is another great example. Venom's a great Spider-Man villain, and they made him a hero. So anyway, valid points on Catwoman and Talia. So any unpopular opinions regarding Batman? Wait, Muhammad, you just want everyone to hate us? You do. What are you doing? trying to sink us. Joe, unpopular opinions regarding Batman.
At this point, I think the most unpopular opinion of a Batman fan would be, I love all interpretations of Batman.
I don't know. That's a cop out. No. I know. I get what you're saying, but no.
I will say, yeah, because the first thing I thought of was that I don't mind Batman by himself, but I also don't mind him with the Bat family. I think there are stories to be told both ways, and I think too many people are married to one or the other.
Okay.
And I'm okay with both. Like, I think there's a part of, like, I love some great Batman solo stories, but I do enjoy the Bat family as well. So I think people need to stop being married to one or the other.
All right. Brendan, an unpopular...
That's the first thing I could think of off the top of my head. That's a hard question.
Yeah, it is, right? Because at this point, any opinion on Batman can be unpopular, depending on where you share it.
I mean, aside from the things I've said about the Batman over the last couple of months, I don't know, man. I'm really struggling to think of something.
Check Brendan's Twitter for the last, like,
I know,
6 months
yeah,
or
right.
5 months.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Isn't
I've
that
kind of
enough,
made-
right?
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
walking unpopular opinion right now.
But I mean, I'm not alone in those opinions, but they're just not the popular opinions at the moment. Oh man, I really can't think of anything other than the obvious ones at the moment, and people know them, so I don't want to bang on about them again.
Well, I mean, at this current moment in time, us only liking the Batman movie is pretty unpopular.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything like that would be really unpopular, and I can't think of anything other than, y'all know this, like me banging the drum of like, stop being afraid of Robin. Robin is a part of Batman mythos. Yep. Don't be afraid of Robin. Robin can be in a movie. What the hell's the matter with you people? I don't know if that's unpopular though. It's just like, why? What the heck, man? Why are we so afraid of using Robin?
Batman's okay in the world where, there is fantasy. Like, is that unpopular still? Like, because everyone keeps going back to the grounded element of everything with Batman. Like,
okay, that's a great example. Yeah, an unpopular opinion. Batman doesn't have to be in the real world.
That's very true.
Unfortunately for you, the popularity of this film is not going to help that going forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's what kind of, like...
Yeah.
And the more success a grounded Batman has, I feel like WB is going to be more afraid to go away from that.
Yeah.
Which is, again, the wrong... I think it's the wrong lesson to learn.
I can't remember who it was, like in the last week or so, and it's just like, it shits me because they wanted straight out of the gate Man of Steel and those movies to have the $1 billion success that the last two Nolan movies did, and they didn't. And we all know what's happened with the DCEU in the years that have followed that, and now they've gone back to a grounded Batman, and it's making bank again. And as a Batman fan who does like other interpretations, and I love my grounded Batman, don't get me wrong, it does make it hard because I think they're going to be gun shy and go, well, we tried that once and it didn't work.
Yeah, the hope for me is that they're establishing this Batman this way. So then again, we keep going back to the movie we want is the movie after this, is maybe because they've established it, gotten the faith from the fans, quote unquote, and now they can start going maybe towards that way. That's my hope. Mm-hmm. I'm not holding my breath, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
My only hope, and I don't know, I mean, even 3 or 4 years ago, I would have gone, there's no way in hell. But in this day and age, who knows? Like, they've got HBO Max now. So if you want to do a more fantastical Batman movie, you know, on a slightly lower budget that doesn't need to make $1 billion to break even or whatever, like, do it, but put it on HBO Max. It doesn't need to go to the cinema. I don't care how it's released. I don't want this to be the only, you know, live action version of Batman moving forward, because there is room for both.
Yeah. All right, let's move forward. Next message is from our old pal Matt Malecki. Hey, Matt. He says, hey, guys, it's been a while since I've emailed, but I've continued to be a long-time and loyal listener for many years. It continues to be one of the best Batman podcasts ever. I'd like to extend congratulations on the birth of your daughter, Andy. Fatherhood is amazing, and after listening to you for a long time across several podcasts, I know that she's incredibly lucky to have you as her dad. Thank you. She doesn't sound very lucky right now. I'm sure you can maybe hear her crying. I bet you.
I heard her before. I was going to say, can you control your child, please?
I cannot, but you know, she's part of the show. What are you going to do? It says, after listening to your recent episode ranking all the live-action Batman movies, I thought it would be fun to also rank the animated Batman movies. Since there are a lot of ones where he appears, I thought it would be best to limit it and not include Justice League movies or one where he's only a supporting character or a cameo. So I've compiled the list below where Batman's name is in the title or he is a clear main character. And then he did put a list down here starting with Mask of the Phantasm going all the way to The Long Halloween, and it's 31 movies. And he said, since this list is so much longer, maybe you'd have to make it a 2-part episode. Anyway, I continue to love the show. I hope you'll keep it going for many years. Keep the bat signal shining, Matt Malecki. Thank you, Matt. And I love the idea. I'm totally down. Just a matter of timing. But heck yeah, we can make that happen. People liked that movie ranking episode. It's funny, when I put this up there for the Batmobile ranking, someone's like, oh no, this list caused controversy, but we didn't get any pushback for ranking the Batman movies. We didn't get a single one like, you guys are out of your minds. So I think people like lists. So yeah, for the animated movies, for sure, I'm down to do it. So let's put it in our back pocket and wait until we have a week where we don't know what to do. Next message here is from Paul Burgess. It says, hey, Andy, this message is a bit longer, but you deserve it. I just started listening to your latest episode and where you go through the Wayne Manor mailbox answering questions about the Batman, and I'm at the part where you opened up about how frustrating it was to hear from listeners who were so insensitively remarked on your review episode. Thank you for saying what you said with your characteristic coupling of honesty and grace, not lowering yourself to the level of those controlled by their lesser instincts and insecurities, but still communicating that you're a person and people don't deserve to be maligned for having opinions, especially when they express them as open-mindedly as you and Brendan, and yes, even Jamie, do. Your prefaces and disclaimers during the review were more than adequate in expressing your sincere hope that people love the movie, while also your conviction that the best you can do is be honest. And for heaven's sake, you made it abundantly clear that you really liked the movie. Unfortunately, we live in a polarized society that we think people must be 100% on one side of an issue or the other, and there's no room for middle ground. This is a dangerous and delusional way to live because all of life is middle ground. Nothing is black or white. Ironically, that's one of the things that's so eternally intriguing about the character that brings us all together. Is Batman right or wrong to take the law into his own hands? What does it look like to be a hero we deserve, but perhaps not the one we need? Is it morally permissible to take a life if doing so prevents the loss of others? Is our protagonist Bruce or the Bat, a man or the myth that propels him? None of these answers are clear-cut. Like the hero we adore, they are cloaked in gray. Thank you for being faithful to the spirit of our shared fandom by not succumbing to the enticing allure of absolute black and white perspectives. Thank you for sharing with us your opinions, which you are under no obligation to do. And thank you for your vulnerability in speaking out when people cross the line and aim to wound you, apparently blind to the fact that this is a labor of love. And as a husband and a very new father, you have so much more you could be doing. That ultimately brings me to a larger thanks. Thanks for what this show means to me. I've been listening for years. I'm one of the thousands of shadow followers who rarely speak and simply enjoy what you share with the world. I don't always agree with your every opinion, but way more important than that, I appreciate how intentionally you communicate that agreement isn't the goal, that there's enough Batman to go around. You consistently approach your episodes with such a welcoming and positive spirit, such that when I need an encouraging listen in darker times, I always turn to Holy BatCast. In fact, your podcast helped inspire me to create my own as part of my doctoral studies in pastoral ministry. I even referenced you and your show in my final thesis as an example of the positive impact that shows like this can have in bringing people together and building community in a divided world. So thank you, my friend, and please allow me to make one slight correction to something you said in your confession during the most recent episode. You referenced the disclaimers you, Jamie, and Brendan offered before giving your largely positive review and said with deserved frustration in light of your critics that apparently it didn't matter. It did. It didn't stop those so consumed with their insecurities that they need to label people as right or wrong based on whether or not those people share their opinions, but it exposed those people for who they are. Sadly, they're blind to the fact that your positivity, honesty, and willingness to stand in the messy middle of life is a gift. They won't benefit from that gift, and that's their loss. But so many of us do benefit, and there are way more of us there than there are of them. To reference a movie I saw recently, you and your show bring hope. You represent love and light. You're about more than seeking vengeance against the takes on Batman you might not prefer or the fans who disagree with you. You help bring us together. Don't worry about those who want to derail that train. They're nothing more than the vocal but vast minority. You keep being you because, man, you're awesome. Thanks for following your passion and sharing it with the world. Your Bat brother, Paul Burgess. All right, Pat. Paul. I'm sorry, not my bad. I guess I was overwhelmed by the message that I screwed up your name, Paul. Sorry about that, Paul. But thank you so much. I'm actually saving this message for when I need it. Because it's really awesome. And I will say on our Q&A episode, like addressing some of the responses and some of the messages and things that I got, I wasn't fishing. I wasn't fishing for like, guys, I'm sad, tell me how good I am. Like, that's really not the point of it. But even so many of you reached out to say, hey, don't take it to heart. They are the minority. And so many of you reached out with words of kindness and support. And even though that wasn't the goal, I can't tell you how much I appreciated it. And messages like this really do mean a lot to me. Like you say, this podcast is a labor of love. We do it because it's supposed to be fun. We do it because we love Batman. We love talking about Batman. We love dissecting Batman. We love celebrating Batman. We just spent an hour talking about every Batmobile chase and every Batman movie, and it was fun as hell. Like, that's why we do it. And it's a shame that there are just a vocal minority who can just make you feel bad about it. And the amount of messages I got so far outweighed the negative ones that I got after the Batman review. And Paul, your message was amazing, and I literally saved it because sometimes you do need to hear words of encouragement, and I really appreciate you sending them. So, and Harley's very upset. She's still mad at all the people who are mad at me, mostly.
Well, I mean, just as a listener myself, I mean, this, just to echo everything he said, I listen to this show every week, and like I said when we came on, I got lost while you guys were doing the intros because I'm just so used to listening to you guys that I'm like, oh, I'm actually here today. But it's a shame that it almost seems like because you are so positive, it became like a detriment because people are like, wait a second, he's not positive, he must be wrong. And it's a shame that you do this stuff for our enjoyment and for your enjoyment, but we love listening to you so much and really interacting with you. And I'm lucky enough where I get to message with you once in a while. And, I always try to show my support for everything you guys do. But just to be on here and talk to you is really a lot of fun for me. And it's a shame that anyone who does this type of thing, in their own free time can really get any criticism whatsoever. Like, what for? Like, what is that gain? I don't understand it, and it just, it's smart for you to share messages like that. And we know you weren't fishing for it, but it's got to be it's got to be nice and, just comforting for you to have those messages, because unfortunately if you get one message that's berating you, it's too much. So it's nice that you do this, and I'm glad you haven't been so discouraged from doing it that you just don't want to anymore, because we would all be missing out.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. And I think you make a valid point. It's so funny. It's so funny to me in a very ironic way that now I'm getting this hate because, oh, Holy BatCast, nothing but negativity. because for years it was the opposite of people would make fun of me for being too positive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he just loves everything. And now it's like, oh, he just hates everything. It's like, really? It's just.
And you gave it a B.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I do appreciate that, Joe. That means a lot to me. And yeah, it's it always reminds me of when The Hobbit was coming out. Go with me on this. Is so random. Martin Freeman did this interview, and he said something about like being really worried about taking the starring role in The Hobbit because he knows that like all these eyes are going to be on him, and he has to carry this movie. And he goes, and I'm just really sensitive about that because, like when I did The Office, I'd see all these people and they say I was funny and they say I was talented, but then this one guy from Idaho would just say I was shit, and I would just obsess about that one guy who hated me. And I'm like, dude, same, Martin Freeman. Me and him, we see eye to eye. It's like, yeah, like I can get 100 nice messages of going, we love your show, and one person goes, your show's garbage. I'm like, what did I do to that guy? What did I do? How do I make that one guy happy? Yeah.
It's a sign of you making it, I think, because they care enough to really put you down. It's like, wow, like they're listening to me and they hate me. It makes a lot of sense.
I guess. And I mean, it's like I said on that episode of like, anybody who puts themselves out there in any way, someone's going to tell you suck. Doesn't matter who you are or what you do. There are people out there who think Steven Spielberg sucks. So like, what are you going to do? And I'm not saying I'm Steven Spielberg. I'm just saying, no matter what level of success you have, there's always someone who wants to tell you you're bad. So it just comes with the territory.
I mean, all I can say is that, 6.5 years ago, I was just a fan of this show. And for whatever reason, you asked me to be on an episode one day, and that spawned a really, really, really good friendship. And, I'm still humbled to be a part of this show because I was a hell of a fan before you ever invited me on. And, things have just worked out the way that they have, and I am so happy and proud to be a part of this show. So
I know. I mean, look at us now. Now our babies are going to get married.
They are, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, sorry. I tell her all the time. I'm like, just wait till you meet Henry. All right. Well, thank you guys. Are you guys good on time? I got emails.
I'm starting to get there.
Getting tight? Okay. Let's say we do 2 more and then we'll get the heck out of here. I was afraid of that. Next one's from Weston Craig. It says, hey guys, thoughts. I'm sure everyone is writing in with their thoughts on the Batman. Similar to you guys, I rated it about a B. It had pros and cons like every Batman movie. I'm an engineer. One of the reasons I became an engineer is because I saw a sign on a college campus that said, an engineer designed Batman's utility belt. And I resonated with that. I wish there were some more sci-fi gadgets or flashy scenes in the movie. The action wasn't bad, it was just more grounded and realistic than even Nolan's. I feel the same about the gadgets. Part of what makes Batman cool is he has gadgets that we can't currently make, like the gliding cape. I acknowledge that he had the camera contacts, but I wish he had thrown a Batarang or had been shown to develop new tech. Like Bale's Batman with the cowls or Keaton's zipline gauntlet. Maybe if he had used the squirrel suit a second time, but this time he didn't crash? Question, I agree with Brendan. Even though this Batman says he's year 2, it still feels like a new Batman. I felt that this Batman was depicted as a year 2 Batman who had been fighting thugs, but not the rogues gallery. Because like Matt Reeves says, oh god, the villains are still getting their origin stories. I'm slightly confused by the Arkham HBO show. I don't know what it'll be like, but if Arkham is going to be full of supervillains that Batman has fought before, even minor ones, I don't think it would fit narratively with the movie. If Batman's been capturing supervillains already, don't you think he would have been more prepared for the Riddler? And have more developed gadgets and fighting techniques like a year 6 Batman instead of year 2? Thoughts? Thank you, Weston. So, I mean, Brendan, he is kind of right to you. Thoughts on that? How does the Arkham thing work with a year 2 Batman?
You've got me. That's a good question.
I mean, it's one of those things where I feel like you just kind of switch up the order of things, and I hate to make the comparison, but it's the only apt one, like Gotham, where in this Gotham, the villains could exist before Batman, or maybe we just start getting the beginnings of them in Arkham. You know, maybe Jonathan Crane's in Arkham, but he's not the Scarecrow yet, and the Arkham series explores that, or Kirk Langstrom, or whoever. You know, I think that's the way you have to do it, because they can't be fully formed because nobody is yet.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating part of it. It's just like it's okay to not know the backstory of everyone. I mean, like, he's got the right idea with the Joker. Like, I love the fact that there's history there, and I don't need to see their first meeting. I just don't know why it can't be like that for virtually everyone else.
Yeah. Joe, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, well, the way I took it with the Joker, like, he has a history with, let's say he has a history with 5 of the supervillains. Like with the Joker, he has a history. Maybe the Joker did some really, crazy things like the Joker does, locks him up in Arkham, but he hasn't grasped just how crazy the Joker is yet. Like the Joker hasn't resonated with him yet, just how, because I mean, the Joker as we know him, I don't know if Batman's going to him to ask for help. Like he hasn't grasped yet, like that's not going to work. So it is still the beginning stages, but there are still supervillains. So it's kind of, again, I try to find that happy middle ground of maybe have your cake and eat it too a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a great question. And I think the only one who knows the answer right now is Matt Reeves. And we'll see. First of all, we'll see if the Arkham series even becomes real. And if so, it'll be really interesting to see how it plays out and how they make that happen. All right, we'll do one last one. We'll get out of here. So, Brendan, you can go about your day, and I can go help my saint of a wife with the baby.
I have to go to IKEA.
Ooh, lucky. All right, this is from Jacob. It says, "Hey guys, it's been a minute since I've written, but I'll start off by saying, Andy, I appreciate all the hard work that you put into the show, and I have such respect for you and the Holy BatCast crew. I loved your review of the Batman, and while I more or less agreed with your criticisms, I wholeheartedly love this Batman film. Being born in 2004, I missed the hype of '89 and the Nolan trilogy, so this was my first Batman theater experience, and it was so special and amazing for me. My only gripe with the film is there wasn't enough Alfred. I'm not sure if it's just me, but this film had the vibe of the Arkham games with the character interactions and the setting. With that being said, I don't feel like it would be far-fetched for there to be a Poison Ivy or a Clayface or a Mr. Freeze. For my question, do you think this will be a trilogy or a franchise? That's all for now. Sorry for the long intro. Yours truly, Jacob." Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate it. And yeah, I could also understand seeing, this being your first real Batman in the theater. That makes a lot of sense. So what do you think? A trilogy, a franchise, Joe?
Everyone always talks trilogy. I would love it to be a franchise. I would love it to just kind of keep going. And I think you've actually said this before, Andy, kind of take the James Wan approach where it's like, do the films you feel like doing and then hand it off to someone that you trust. So if you don't want to do more than 2 or 3 films, Matt Reeves, then don't just end it like Nolan did. And listen, I have a lot of respect for the way Nolan did that trilogy, but I would prefer it to keep going if possible and have Reeves give it to someone that he trusts so we can keep going and building on this franchise and maybe change it up a little bit, but still stay faithful to what Reeves intended.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Brendan?
Yeah, I think it's just the assumption now that everything's going to be a trilogy. And I think that's because of Nolan, I feel. But, I mean, it's tough. I would like to see at least 3 movies, but I'd also... I like the idea of a franchise, but I'm talking about a world so far that I'm still not crash hot on. So it'd depend what they do and how things progress from here. And I really hope that it can fully win me over. And then not always sort of be that little caveat of like, it was cool, but I still don't like this. But I mean, yeah, if they can manage to pull that off, then yeah, I mean, I'm as much as possible. I'd love to see.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, and I think we've mentioned this pretty recently is like, everyone assumes trilogy. Trilogy is almost a foregone conclusion at this point, but there's no rule that says it has to be a trilogy. You know, right now you've got a Batman who is pretty young. You have a cast that's pretty young. Barry Keoghan is pretty young. So there's no reason it couldn't be 4 movies, 5 movies, 6 movies. You know, like you could just keep going, keep expanding the world and keep having more adventures in this world, adding to the Rogues Gallery and the Bat Family and everything. Like they've certainly got enough pieces in place that they could do that. I hope they do. And to your point, Joe, it doesn't, you know, Matt Reeves doesn't have to direct them all. If he wants to take a break from Batman, you can, you know, work with some of his favorite collaborators, but still within this world, because I'm sure he's not going to direct the HBO Max series, but they do seem committed to the world because of the HBO Max series, that it's not going to be a trilogy only. But I just feel like don't shut it down until it's time. And right now we're just at the beginning. There are so many places they can go and so many stories they can tell. I hope that they are allowing the freedom to do that and not just lock themselves into, nope, 3 movies only, because it doesn't have to be that way. And God, and franchise filmmaking this day and age, nobody wants only 3 movies. They want a cow they can milk for as long as they possibly can. I mean, I feel better knowing that like Fast and Furious is going to end on 11, so they can like end on a high note. So I think like do that, like for the Batman.
Well, it's 10. It's still 10. It's
no, they said they're going to go to 11.
It's part 2, so it's still 10.
10 part 2 is 11, girl.
Not according to Vin Diesel.
Okay, well, tomato. But what I'm saying is have the integrity of Vin Diesel and do 11 the Batman movies. I think everyone can agree that that's the way to go. All right, they've
already got the car.
I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing that.
Show some restraint.
Oh,
sorry.
you know, you don't have to just say it. You can just think it.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna stop. I still have 30 emails. Like,
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I try so hard to catch up, and it's just never gonna happen. But thank you to everybody who has written in. We appreciate it. Appreciate the messages. And again, there are quite a few emails in here that I didn't even get to of very similar of what Paul sent in, just super supportive. And like I said, some of those were private, some of those were for the mailbox, some of them were texts, but like, you know, I hope everybody who took the time to write to me knows that that wasn't the intent. I think mostly I addressed it on that episode just to be honest and like go, hey, here's what's going on and here's what's bugging me and here's why I'm not super psyched to do this episode. I just try to be transparent with the listeners. But everybody who took the time to write, it just means the world to me. And it was a wonderful week compared to the week prior, just to get those messages. And so I want to thank everybody who took the time, because you didn't have to. You could have just moved on with your life, but it means a lot. So everybody who wrote in, thank you guys. Love hearing from y'all. Love the ideas. Love the questions. Love it. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, you can send it to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com. At this rate, I'll get to it probably in around August.
You know what would have solved this problem?
What?
If you just stayed in China, man.
I know.
We were so much closer in time zones, and we'd often do the whole like, hey, do you want to jump on for a couple of hours? It's only 9 o'clock here and 7 o'clock where you are. But no, can't do that anymore.
I'm so sorry. I might have to do that. I was trying to avoid just doing like a mailbox only, but I might just have to. I might have no choice.
You'll have to, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Because even this, I was like, oh, Batmobile chases, that'll take 40 minutes, and then I'll have an hour and 20 to do the mail. No, that's not how it went. Never is. I will say this, though. The next episode you're going to hear is an episode from the past. So while we were waiting for Harley to be born, I recorded a couple episodes to like have ready to go. And so Jamie and I recorded a look back at 1982's Swamp Thing, directed by Wes Craven. We did that and I was like, oh good, that's like not time sensitive. I can release that when I'm sort of taking care of the baby. But then the Batman came out and I just never got around to releasing it because there was so much going on with Batman. So next episode, I am going to finally release that Swamp Thing episode. So this is a great time to revisit the 1982 Swamp Thing because that will be the next one. But we recorded it like a month ago. So it's going to be, it's going to be a little out of order and there's no mailbox on that episode. So just know that that's coming next. Just a full disclosure, rewatch Swamp Thing and then listen to that episode. And then, yeah, maybe after that, maybe it's time to just hunker down and get through the mailbox. Anyway, guys, let's wrap it up. Thank you both for joining us. Joe, great to finally have you back on the show. And you were on an epic 3-hour episode of Holy BatCast. Holy crap.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for hanging in. And yeah, I mentioned it earlier, but tell everybody about The Fire Rises and how they can listen to Eric talk about the Batmobile.
Eric's gonna actually be very disappointed when he found out I told him I was gonna be on, and he's like, "Oh, wait till you read my email." So we're gonna have to.
We haven't gotten to it yet, but I did. It was in here because he did kind of hit back at you for throwing him under the bus.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll have plenty of time to go back at each other during our own podcast. You don't need to fill this up with that crap. So, but yeah, so Eric has a podcast called The Fire Rises, the Batman podcast. I've been on that pretty much since day one. It's a lot of fun. The two of us, we just, I would say we like to try to stay positive with everything, and we disagree on things too. But it's been a lot of fun doing that show, and we do that bi-weekly. We don't do it every week, and try to keep it short and sweet. We usually stay around the hour and a half mark. So if guys are interested in having yet another Batman podcast, please check that out. We greatly appreciate everyone that's been listening. So you can find that, and that's at TFR Batpod, I believe, on Twitter. And then I'm just at JForn11 on Twitter and Instagram, and Joe Forno on Facebook.
Sweet. Thanks, Joe. Brendan, thank you as well on your Sunday morning. Sorry to keep you from IKEA.
That's okay. It's all good. Yeah, great to be on. It was really good to have Joe on. We'll have to try and get Eric on. Actually, we should try and do something with that show in general. Like, it'd be a cool little crossover for something. But,
doesn't this count?
No, I mean,
you don't need Eric.
Kind of counts.
Yeah, I mean, but like,
well, I would have invited Eric, but Joe told me unequivocally that Eric hates me now. So like, I don't want to invite someone on the show who hates me. Like, he's the one I'm losing sleep over, just like Martin Freeman. I'm like, I can't sleep because I'm like, why does Eric Carter hate me? He used to like me.
The plan to get Joe on was to kind of be like the Yoko and break up the Fire Rises, because how dare they start their own show?
Oh. I play both sides. I toe the line a little bit.
Wow.
No, I mean, like, you, me, and Jamie, and Eric and Joe, like, get the 5 of us together to do something. That'd be fun.
That would be
That'll
fun.
be like 5-6 hours.
Yeah, right? Block out a weekend.
Yeah.
But no, like, it was really good fun. Great time to, obviously always a good time to record with you, Andy, and whoever else joins us, whoever becomes the third part in our little, what would you call it? Our little coupling that we've got here. Menage, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you can find me on Twitter at Loey007. I have podcasts, but it's been so long since I've done one, and I don't know when I'm going to get the chance to do another one.
Yeah.
But I'm always on here. As I said, it's rough because the stuff I want to talk about is all Batman related at the moment, and I've said everything on here. Like, I don't need to record my own episode.
Yeah, I want to insert that little meme of Thor where it's like, "Do you though?"
Yeah. It's true.
Well, come Christmas, the fire rises will, or no, that's them. Damn it. The nightlight will rise again.
The Nightlight is making RFRM look like a more frequent show.
Right. Hey, remember when like RFRM like came back to life for like 3 months and everyone's like, "Whoa, it's back," and now it's asleep again.
It's because there's no holidays.
That's true. I mean, Easter's coming.
It is.
All right. No, thank you both, gentlemen. Definitely appreciate it. And thank you, everybody out there, for downloading the show. Please do subscribe or follow the show wherever you get your podcasts. And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Visit holybatcast.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. Holy BatCast. Again, if you got something for the Wayne Manor mailbacks, that's holybatcast at rf4rm.com. Our theme music was created by the very talented and very nice Gaurav Venkateswar. His music can be found at gvtunes.com. Again, check out our sponsor at manscaped.com and please use the promo code BATSCAPED. Please check out their products, get your 20% off, get your free shipping with BATSCAPED because you're buying yourself a gift and you're helping us in the process. But that'll do it. On behalf of Joe and Brendan, I've been Andy and Jamie, who is probably face down in a ditch at this point. I just hope Kimber pulls his face out of the water so he survives. But on behalf of all of them and me, Andy, this has been Holy BatCast. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
Oh, it's our anniversary, isn't it?
There's a serial killer. I want your perspective.
First anniversary is paper. What makes you think I come so cheap?
I thought you'd be curious.
I just like the visual of Jamie in full leprechaun garb with his face in a puddle, like the end of
the green
Glass.
Hat. Yeah,
That'd be
the hat is what I can't get out of my head. Is the hat with the buckle on the front and everything.
So mine's the black shoes with the buckles.
Yeah.